All right, everybody, it's myself, Mike Ballantyne, the Cleat Geek, and of course, as always, we got our buddy Cheese over there, clean-shaven, headset on, and ready to go. Plus, here in just a few moments, we will have our special guest. You can find him at TJ Bennett. That is spelled B-E-N-N-E triple T, because he can't do two. His name's just way too popular, man. So he's got to do 3 T's and then a 3 and a 7. So once again, it's at TJ Bennett, B-E-N-N-E-T-T-T 37. All right, we'll get to him here in just a moment. But of course, I got to ask you, Cheese, how you been, man? How you been?
Doing pretty good. It's gotten a little chilly out, but I'm pretty good. How about you? Are the Cardinals ever going to hire a coach?
I don't think they are, or they're probably going to hire the wrong one anyway. So we'll see how all this goes. But
Matt Nagy's available, so there you go.
Matt Nagy is available, and he would definitely be the wrong one. Okay. Oh man. All right. So we got a bunch of different things to do here. We're going to have our special guest first. After we do the 5 Flamin' 5 in 5, we will also do Major League Baseball first today because Tommy is a big Major League Baseball guy. He is with the Pesky Podcast. That's at Pesky_podcast. You can find him there along with some of his friends. Yes, we actually have a person on today who has friends. Imagine that. So we're going to get to it right here, right now. First, let's give you the walk-up music.
Are you ready? 20 seconds start now. Ten seconds remaining. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have got so much to get to, and it is going to be a jam-packed show today. We're going to talk about the Red Sox, Ranger Suarez. We're going to talk about outs above average and some other defensive stuff as well. We're going to do a couple things with the Red Sox and the Cubs kind of put together. In fact, I will actually propose a trade between the two teams for Cheese and our guest Tommy Bennett to figure out amongst themselves. Then we'll talk about the National Baseball Hall of Fame, and that's just our MLB segment. We're going to talk about the Colorado Buffaloes. We're going to talk about the college football connection with the Super Bowl, and then, of course, we got to jump into the NFL and make sure that we get everything there too. Coaching changes, hirings that have happened since we spoke the last time, and all kinds of other stuff within the realm of the National Football League. All right, but before we start there, you guys know what we do first. We have got to give you the 5 Flamin' 5 and 5. Let me explain real quick. We'll start it, and then believe it or not, for the first time ever, our guest will actually be involved in the 5th question. So stay right with us. Here we go. The 5 Flamin' 5 and 5 goes this way. You'll see flames come up on the screen. They will surround my buddy Cheese. I'm going to give him 5 questions that he has no idea what's coming. He gets to answer them, and he gets to do it, hopefully, in 5 minutes. Or, well, hopefully it won't happen. We'll just go that route. All right, buddy. Are you ready?
This is fine.
No, yeah. You're just going to have a little bit of a liquid there from the Green Bay Cup just in case the flames get too hot, right?
There you go.
All right. So the 5 Flamin' 5 and 5 will start after I finish reading the first question. And here we go. All right, buddy. Patriots owner Robert Kraft has gone to the Super Bowl 11 times since Jerry Jones's last Super Bowl appearance. Jerry Jones is in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Kraft is not. What does this say about the status of the National Football League?
Well, Jerry was the owner of the Cowboys teams in the 90s. That was like a dynasty. They won 3 Super Bowls, I believe, in 4 years. So I think that's what they voted on. That's why he's in the Hall of Fame. Kraft, I don't know if he gets dogged because it's Belichick and Brady or not. But that's why Jerry Jones is. If you think about it right now, you're like, it looks terrible because Jerry Jones has been a really bad owner for so long. But the 90s Cowboys teams were incredible. And that is the main reason he is. Kraft will get in at some point. But yeah, that's why.
All right. So now that the regular season is over, here with question 2, the top 3 teams that were fined all came from the same division in the NFL. Dallas is 1, Philadelphia was 2nd, Washington was 3rd. And then even if you throw in Detroit, Pittsburgh are the next 2, and then the Giants are number 6. So all of those teams are in the same division in the top 6. But I also got to point this out. The last 3 teams that were the least fined, they didn't make the playoffs either. That would be Atlanta, Cincinnati, and Indianapolis was the least fined team in the NFL this year. Is there a correlation between any of this, or is this just one of these crazy stats that I dug up for nothing?
Well, I mean, the AFC East has always just been, NFC East. I don't know if I've ever seen more hatred among teams. Every team just hates each other. When I was growing up, it's just, even when I was a kid, all those teams, Giants hate the Cowboys, Eagles hate the Redskins, there's so much hatred. So I can see that. They're all, I can see all 4 of those teams being fined a lot every year. And it makes sense with the Lions. They're a very dirty team.
All right, buddy. Sounds good. So let's jump to baseball for a second. We'll do a lot of baseball here in just a minute with our guest, Tommy Bennett. In the Jose Ramirez new Guardians contract, $70 million of his contract is deferred. And that makes them, believe it or not, the second most amount of deferred payments by any team in baseball. $70 million for them, but the number 1 team, of course, I think every fan that's watching this is going to know the answer to this question. It is the Los Angeles Dodgers, but the amount is insane. $1.06 billion. So the second team, $70 million. The top is $1.6 billion with a B. My question to you, Cheese, is deferring these payments smart business or not?
I mean, it'll hurt them in the future, especially if they go to salary cap. I'm not sure how it'll work. But I think the reason they did defer payments allowed you was to help teams that didn't have big payroll push it in future years. And instead, what's happened is teams like the Dodgers that spend more, just deferring it to have a lower tax this year, or the current years. So it's actually had the opposite effect. It's allowed the Dodgers to sign more and give more money. So I really don't think you should be able to defer. Maybe in the new CBA, because we're probably going to only have we'll have next year in baseball. We might not even have a 2027 season. But
stop it.
Real quick, I don't know why the Guardians did that. They didn't need to give him that money. They could have waited. What if he just drops off a cliff? I'm surprised they didn't at least wait another year before they extending him. But anyway.
Well, maybe we'll talk about that in a moment. I can see Tommy laughing in the background over here. So we'll have to get to that here in just a second. Next question, sir. The Cardinals are the Arizona Cardinals are one of 7 teams that don't have a team president apart from the owner. Those 7 teams have made the playoffs 28.6% of the time in the last 3 years. But the other 22 teams that do have a team president have made the playoffs 48.5% in the last 3 years. Is there a correlation between those two?
Very possible. Usually the president handles the business side, and you have to answer the president. The GM and the coach have to usually answer. Most teams are set up that way. So, yeah, maybe there's less accountability. So I think there is a correlation. I think you should have a team president.
Okay, sounds good. I'm going to ask the last question because I know darn good and well you ain't getting it in these 20-some seconds we've got left. I'll ask it. I'm going to pull Tommy in. We'll keep the music in the background, and then we'll go right along with it. So, Cheese and Tommy, you know what? I'll just do it right here. Hold on. Let's just add Tommy to the stage right now. There we go. Let me put this over here and change this look. There, look at that. Woo! Look at them 3 sexy beasts up there on the TV. Well, 2 of them anyway.
Looks great.
So, let's go with this last question, gentlemen. Your team needs one more starter. Your baseball team needs one more starter. Which Hall of Fame pitcher that is currently a free agent would you choose? The 43-year-old Justin Verlander, who had a 3.85 ERA and 152 innings pitched last season? Or would you go with Max Scherzer with the 3.77 ERA in 3 postseason games for the Toronto Blue Jays last year, including Game 7? Tommy's our guest. We'll start with him. Tommy, which guy you choosing? Justin Verlander, Max Scherzer?
I'm actually going to take Verlander. Because he actually gave quite a bit of starts and he gave quite a bit of innings. He just played for a team that literally couldn't win, and their offense pretty much was non-existent for the first half of the season. So I think I'm going to take Verlander. He's getting, obviously he's up there in age, but I think the body of work is there for at least one more season. Where Scherzer, you just don't know. He's been hurt way too much to kind of roll the dice there. So I'm gonna take Verlander.
All right, so Tommy's taking Verlander. Cheese, do you agree? You're going to go the other side and take Scherzer?
Verlander's been hurt too, maybe not as much, but yeah, I think I'm going to take Scherzer. I just feel like he has a little bit more left. Looked like he was missing more bats last year. Yeah. So that's tough. I mean, you could flip a coin. Yeah. I'm like 55% Scherzer, 45 Verlander, so it could go either way. But I'll just lean Scherzer.
Okay, sounds good. I almost think in this case you almost want your old pitcher to not pitch as many innings, right? I mean, Max Scherzer didn't do as much last year as what Verlander did. Even Verlander did do 152 innings. He should have won a lot more games with the Giants. They just couldn't hold a lead, as what Tommy said. How about this? I'm cheering for Verlander, but I'm going to pick Max.
Yeah, I'll take Paul Skeens.
Well, of course. Wouldn't everybody, right? Wouldn't everybody?
I'd sell my farm for Paul Skeens if I knew that a big market value extension was coming.
I think a lot of us would do a lot of things for them.
I think there are teams that would probably give you their first 6 or 7 top prospects if they knew they could sign them for like the next 10 years.
You'd have like no choice, I think.
All right, man. We have got so much stuff going on. I bet we've got 30 comments over here we got to get to. Some of them, reading them right now, I'm not going to put up on the screen, but we'll start with this one. So do you know our buddies over at the Red Hot Reds podcast? That's Roger.
Yep, I do. I actually met them on Substack. That's how I got in contact with them. I did a show with them, like as a guest, just talking Red Sox and whatnot. They're really good dudes. They do a really good job for what they cover, and it's nice to see. I mean, I even told this to them. It's nice to see like Reds podcasts like out there. I feel like they're not super common, so. I mean, they do a good job. Looking forward to actually seeing them in person in Cincinnati and experiencing Cincinnati Reds opening day.
Well, I don't know. Those two guys might scare you in person.
They might, but you know what? They're good dudes. They seem like good dudes, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, we got all kinds of stuff here, man.
Two of my friends have taken over the chat on YouTube.
Of course, 2 of your friends have taken over the chat. Boy,
so ready for baseball. Absolutely, Kevin. Yeah, we're so ready for baseball.
WBC's in 36 days.
He's a big Astros fan. Kevin is.
All right. So we're doing a bunch of different stuff here. I got to get everybody in here real fast. All right. So like I say, some of this. Oh, man. Yeah.
Talking about the Flaming Five.
Right. I mean, come on now. We're doing the best we can here. Okay, this is like a multi-dollar investment here. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You do that. You do that. I don't think those things exist. But
that's bully. That's
go right ahead. That's good. So this guy, Cheese. I mean,
that's bully.
Oh yeah. You know how I know that? Because he typed it. Yeah.
Because he typed it.
Oh man.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So before we jump into some more of these comments here, let's let's hop into our baseball talk real fast. But, before we do that, we have certainly got to do what we always do when we transition from point A to point B, right? We got to give you the intro. We got to give you the best graphic in all of podcasting. Here we go.
It's true.
Yeah, we're kind of covering it up a little bit this time, but trust me, it's the best graphic in all of sports. Trust me.
That's nice.
All right, guys. Turn this down just a little bit in the background. Like I said, we are going to get so much stuff. We're going to concentrate on the Red Sox because we got Tommy with us here, so we'll get to all of our Red Sox stuff here in just a moment. We'll, of course, include Cheese, even though he is the Cubs fan and the Braves fan, but that's all right. We'll make sure he gets his talking points in as well, and then we'll get to our college football, and we'll get to our NFL shortly. All right, so during Roger Suarez's introductory press conference, this is his quote, Tommy. I don't think there's a question anymore that the identity of our team and the strength of our team is going to be our pitching and our ability to prevent runs. That was from Craig Breslow. Tommy, I'll start with you. What the heck does that even mean?
Well, you kind of look at before the winter, and it was we're going to try and get a co-anchor behind Garrett Crochet, and we need bats. Well, you traded for your bat in Wilson Contreras, but you didn't pony up enough money for Pete Alonso. I don't even think they made an offer for Kyle Schwarber, and I don't even think that it was even remotely an option. And then you have the whole Bregman saga. So at this point, you're basically trying to lean into run prevention and pitching. Red Sox pitching was really good last year. I mean, in terms of overall ERA, their bullpen was really good. It was up there. I think it wasn't quite the Padres' elite bullpen, but it was up there.
Bully's a Mariners fan, so he's still in mourning.
Oh, poor. Oh, you know what? I feel for them. I do. The Mariners. What a run that was. Like what a fun vibe that was. But they're going to lean into run prevention, and it's not a bad strategy, but there's question marks. Like you probably have one of the best defensive outfields in baseball. Like you have Gold Glove winners in right field and center field, and then whatever you plug in left, preferably Roman Anthony. I think he can handle it really well. He showed he can handle it. Duran, they're going to rotate until you pull the trigger on that outfield trade. You're just going to have a rotation of who's going to slide where, and that just is what it is. But you have question marks in the infield. You didn't bring back Alex Bregman, so now you're relying on Marcelo Meyer, who I do believe can handle the position. He handled it well. 3 outs above average. It wasn't bad. He looked like he's athletic enough to play the position. I think he can play any infield position if you really wanted to, minus first base. I don't think that would be ideal, but he's really a shortstop, but he could play third. And if you need him to play second, great, but that depends who you bring in for third base, which at this point, really not many options out there.
Yeah, we'll talk about some in a moment, though.
I don't want Eugenio Suarez.
Calm down.
It's not great. Plus the strikeouts.
Questions, man. Calm down, Tommy. Calm down.
I liked him with the Diamondbacks because of the power he brought to the plate, but he regressed defensively, and even Torey Lovullo even admitted that they're more athletic now that he was gone. Not that he was the problem, but I don't want that for the Red Sox. And then second base, it's like, what do you do? Like, what is their plan? And that's kind of what we're waiting on. Like, Ceddanne Rafaela should not be a second baseman. That you don't do that. He's arguably the best defensive center field in baseball. But what do? There's no one really out there to acquire. Like who are you going to go get just to sign? That's not even trading. That's signing somebody. There's really nobody out there that's of high impact. Like if you do get somebody, it's someone that can maybe play the field and he's going to give you nothing at the plate. Like you need somewhat a mixture of both.
Or someone like Luis Arias that can't really play second. He's still bad defensively.
Yeah, and he's not even really good at first base either.
Right.
And
he needs to DH.
And
Yeah.
granted, the Red Sox addressed the position at first base. Finally, they haven't had one since Mitch Moreland. And credit to Wilson Contreras. He actually performed pretty well defensively, transitioning from catcher to basically an everyday first baseman. So at least there's that. But yeah, I don't think it's bad to have that. I think the Red Sox pitching is, you can argue, is deeper than just about any team in the American League. I don't know if I'll say in general, because I think the Dodgers, if you look at their pitching in general, it's very deep. Goes beyond just the big four that are starting there, but they got to address second base, and I'm not sure how they do it. And there's a lot of names out there that could be around, but what are those packages look like? And does it even make sense for those teams?
Right. So we'll get to all of that here in just a second. Tommy, I'm going to give you a chance to breathe, man. Just inhale a few times and breathe, okay?
You got me talking
over here, likes your background.
Baseball, man. I'm excited.
Breathe, man.
I'm here to talk baseball, and I'm here to enjoy it.
No, I completely agree with you. So, but Cheese, we got to get your opinion here, right? Do you like Tommy's? No, I'm just kidding. What do you think about what the Red Sox are trying to accomplish here as far as with their defense and with the run prevention and stuff like that, buddy? And will it work? That's the big question. Will it work?
Possibly. Like Tommy said, I think they need a big bat. They need I think they made a lower bat and they didn't get Bregman back. So I think that's a problem. And if it's not Suarez, they got to figure out something else, either at second or third. They need a big bat.
Yeah.
All right. So, Tommy, I've given you a chance to breathe here. We're good. If that's the case, as far as this run prevention and everything else that we're looking at, right, for this statement to be true, the Red Sox need to only give up how many number of runs on average each game for the entire season?
It's tough because you look at the errors. They've been top 5 in errors the last 3 years. They led the league in errors. To be worse than the historically bad Rockies is pretty bad company. And you had the worst fielding percentage. It's not great. You almost have to bank on your pitching being elite. You don't want to be the Pirates, where the Pirates had the 7th.
The Pirates don't want to be the Pirates, sir.
They had the 7th fewest earned runs this year, but they couldn't score. Well, now, I think the Red Sox offense is going to be obviously better than what the Pirates were this year, but you're towing a line of you're having to bank on your pitching and almost playing flawless, which it's risky. I mean, you look at Paul Skeens and how dominant he is and just how much his record could change if he got some kind of competent offense. And I think the Red Sox have a lot of potential offensively, but that's the key word. It's potential and what ifs. What does Wilyer Abreu look like? Getting more opportunity against lefties. Are you really putting all your bags in the basket of a 22-year-old Roman Anthony this year? That's a lot. It's going to be really interesting to see. I mean, I think the addition of Contreras will give the Red Sox a little bit more power, but I think you need a little bit more. I just don't know what they're going to do. I've always leaned into get Bo Bichette, go sign him, get a contact-oriented guy. Just home runs are great, but put the ball in play, get guys moving. I mean, look at what the Blue Jays did. They were a mix of both. It's what made them so good. They get it for power, but they can also put the ball in play. I don't even know what's out there. And I know we're going to talk about the Cubs, and I'll just do they trade Nico Horner? Does that even make sense for them? I feel like a team with World Series aspirations doesn't trade arguably the best defensive second baseman that can make contact and put the ball in play.
Right. Okay.
So we will talk about that in a second.
Right. We'll get into all of that stuff here in just a moment, buddy. So let's look at the stat here for a second. For those people who are with me, Cheese and everybody else knows since we've been doing this show in the beginning, I'm a big stat guy. Let me give you something here. Outs above average, or OAA as it's abbreviated. It's a StatCast metric. It takes a fielder's range and their skill by calculating how many outs they've created or prevented compared to an average player. That's based on the difficulty or the catch probability of each batted ball. So with all of our fans knowing that definition in the back of their mind, for the last 3 years, Cheese, in 2023, the Red Sox were minus 51 in outs above average. Then they jumped up to 2024. They were minus 18. And now in 25, they're actually at 9. So a +9, going from -51 to a +9 in 3 years. How big of a deal is that, buddy?
No, it's definitely a big deal. -59 is awful. You're going to give up so many more runs throughout the season. I don't know tell me what Tommy, how did they improve so much?
The first half of the year was, if you just look at the month of May, like the month of May made me want to die watching baseball, because it was every single night you saw something and it just made you want to bash your head through a wall. Like, I love Christian Campbell. I watched him throw a ball from second base and it just sailed by the catcher, and the Brewers just scored the walk-in run. And I'm like, why does this keep happening? I think fundamentally they just got better. Once he got sent down, I guess the middle of the infield kind of got a little bit more fluent, I guess. Maybe the Rafael Devers trade eventually kind of eased everybody, like being, maybe tension in the clubhouse. Like, I don't know. It started to get a little bit better, kind of tapered off at the end of the year. But it's still a work in progress. I mean, they still have a million errors and fundamentally don't do the little things right in the grand scheme of it. Like, shouldn't have the worst fielding percentage below the Rockies.
True.
You just shouldn't. So, but
all right. So, Tommy, look, again, if the Red Sox are going to have an identity of, we'll do the air quotes here, right, of preventing runs, then why did you let Alex Bregman go? Not you, but why did the Red Sox let Alex Bregman go? He's ranked as one of the top fielding third basemen with a +8 fielding run value. He's tied with Brian Hayes, and he's only bested by Joey Ortiz and Matt Chapman. Why did they let him go if they want to prevent runs so bad?
You can really, like, if they sign Bregman, they don't sign Suarez. Like, there's no world where they get both. So that was basically their pivot plan. It really boils down to they didn't go the distance to get their guy, where the Cubs did quite the opposite, where they were like, okay, we're going to go the distance and give you what you want. Like, I always told people, I was like, Bregman just wants security. He wants to not have to move. He's got a family. Like, that stuff matters. Like, people don't really think about that, but that stuff does matter. And the Cubs were like, all right, here's your no move clause. And the Red Sox cited it as organizational policy that we don't give those out. And had they put that in there, I think he would have taken the 165. Like, he would have just stayed in Boston, but they didn't give him the clause. And it's like, okay, well, you're not going to dump me like because you feel like it. I mean, They dumped Devers the second year into that deal, and he wants to, like, why would he want to uproot his family? He doesn't want to have to go through that. And honest to God, I don't blame him. I really don't. And I'm not even mad at Bregman good for Bregman. Like, I'm happy for Bregman. I hope Bregman does what he did in Boston and Chicago. But if you're the Red Sox, like, that's a very tough pill to swallow. And I understand you felt like he would have accepted your deal, but meet the guy's demands. Like put in the no move clause. If that was the difference, like, that's the problem. And now you're really banking on a Marcelo Meyer who has never played more than 91 games. And as much as I loved what Trevor Story did in 2025, like, you can't put a lot of stock in, all right, he's going to do exactly that again. Like, that was his first healthy year, and players get hurt all the time. It doesn't matter how old you are. But that was one healthy season. So it's like your left side of the infield is just an injury risk. And if one of those guys goes down, like, you really don't have much. I know Franklin Arias is in the system, but how close is he? I don't think he's as close if an injury is coming. So you're going to be shifting guys out of position, and it's just really not ideal. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do. But this is their new philosophy now that they missed out on Bregman, to be honest.
Okay, and we've talked about this new philosophy, right? So, Cheese, does this, we talked about Eugenio Suarez a little bit in the beginning, or, Tommy's talked about pretty much everybody in the Red Sox system since he's been here. So, does this also mean that the Red Sox will not be interested in Eugenio Suarez to play third base for them if they have this whole preventing runs thing? I mean, last year he was a -6 defensive runs saved and a -3 outs above average between the deep backs and the Mariners, but yet he hit 49 home runs, Cheese. Do you think the offense outweighs the defense, or do you think they're not going to be interested in him at all?
I think he needs to DH at this point. But I think the more concerning thing about him is how bad he played in more of a pitcher's ballpark in Seattle. He was much worse than in Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
And his on-base percentage is under 300 for the season. Oh, did you get that?
Yes, got it.
Hello?
Oh,
okay.
300
Sorry.
for the
Okay,
season. We
locked
got
up.
it. We got it.
Yeah. So chances are he's not going to do 49 homers again. He's not going to give you good defense, and he's got an on-base percentage below 300. That's what concerns me. So he really needs to be a DH only, in my opinion.
Okay. I certainly understand that philosophy and that take on everything. So here's the last thing that we're going to look at as far as what Breslow said and how we're going to connect the dots here real quick. Tommy, you mentioned Marcelo Mayer earlier. So there looks like they're going to depend on him at third base. But he's only been in 39 games at third base, and only 20 of those games that he played from first to ninth, right? So not a lot there. He's only had 68 chances at third base. He's got 17 putouts, 50 assists, 4 double plays, and an error. That equates to a .985 fielding percentage and a 0 defensive runs saved. Tommy, are you all right depending on that production with that small of a sample size at third base?
I think you have to be, because there's really nothing else. I think the only way you can move, whether you move Story to second or Meyer to second or switch that, you have to go acquire somebody that can play third base. I don't like the Romy Gonzalez experience at third base, so I'm not even going to entertain that, but that's probably an option if they had to go that route. But I think it all depends if who they acquire and what they acquire, but you kind of have to be okay with Marcelo Meyer at third, because if he was to play shortstop, you got to move Story. There's a lot of juggling with this Red Sox roster. It's really roster gymnastics, but I'm okay with it because I liked what I saw in the small sample size. Will the body of work hold up? Will he adjust if he does play a full season there? It'll be interesting to see how that goes. But you almost have to be okay with it come opening day if they don't go get anybody, because it's kind of what you got. It's what you're working with.
Right. Remember the football games, gentlemen, where they would put John 3:16 in the bleachers and then behind the goalposts and all of that? Well, we got it too. So there you go. We'll plug you and give you it, and we even got more. We don't just have the verse. We got the whole thing typed out by everybody. All right. Okay.
Let's go.
Absolutely. And I understand that. Now let me do this one. We're just gonna troll the trolls today. I don't know what you're watching. I mean, maybe you're watching something different, but there's several people watching us right at the moment. So yeah, we'll just leave it at that. Go troll somewhere else. And we appreciate the fact that you reposted our Wrestling RS podcast. Thank you very much for reposting. You guys do it almost every single week. We thank you very much for it. Tommy, I'm gonna, and you know what? I'm gonna go to cheese on this one for a second. I put this in the notes. Hopefully, both of you have looked up the players because I really like this trade. I'm going to propose a trade. The Red Sox have like 7 lefties on their staff on the 40-man roster, which is absolutely bonkers. So since I've got a Red Sox guy here and a Cubs guy, I wanted to propose just a simple trade between the two teams. I don't want to make it complicated. I just want to do a 1-for-1 straight-up move. You mentioned Nico Horner earlier, Tommy, so I'll give you Nico Horner, and the Red Sox will give Peyton Toll back. What do each of you think of the move? Cheese, I'll talk to you about yours first. What do you think about getting Peyton Toll back if you give up Nico Horner to the Red Sox?
So I'm no expert on Peyton Toll, but I know he's a left-handed pitcher that misses bats.
Yes.
So
and
I'm going to talk more about
people who miss bats.
I do. The Cubs have a ton of lefties too, though. They're really too left-handed, in my opinion. But I'm going to talk about the other side. So Nico Horner, if you believe in just WAR, regular like the baseball reference WAR, which puts a lot of emphasis on defense, he was 11th in baseball last year. Okay. Fangraph WAR, he was 27th in baseball in WAR. His average annual WAR of the last 4 seasons seasons he's been the top 75, no matter what. His cumulative WAR in both lists is top 30. And somehow he didn't make the top 100 list MLB because he has everything but power. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So basically, potential top 30 player in baseball. I know he's got 1 year left on his deal, but he's in the top 95th. He's in the 95th percentile in fielding and base running metrics. One of 3 players. I know Bobby Witt Jr. is another. I can't remember the third, but
probably Ellie.
If you trade him, I guess you put Matt Shaw at second, but you're getting a worse defensive player, getting a worse offensive player, getting a worse base runner, and a worse clutch player. Like Nico Horner was hitting over 300 with men in scoring position.
Yeah.
So,
but he's also in the last year of his contract, though.
He is. So I would try to extend him. So I just don't know that it benefits the Cubs to trade him.
Okay, I didn't see the extension part coming, so that's interesting. Tommy, let me go over to you. What about this trade? And is it it's not Poley, is it? It's Pole, right? Or Pole, or how? Talk to me. You know every person on that Red Sox team, buddy. What we got here?
So the Cubs. So I did some digging. I was like, what is the Cubs situation after this year? They have 5 free agents, and 2 of them are in the outfield. Suzuki's up. Ian Happ's up, Shota's up, Nico Horner's up. Matthew Boyd has a mutual option, which usually those guys pretty much go to free agency at that point.
Yep, absolutely.
If you're the Cubs,
I sense a trade coming from Tommy. That's what I sense is coming right now. Peyton Toley's got a really elite fastball, misses bats, high swing and miss rates with that. He has no secondaries right now. There's not a secondary pitch that he trusts. If they don't want to give him up for Ketel Marte, I'm not giving him up for Nico Horner. Oh, okay.
I think Ketel Marte is the best second baseman in baseball.
Yeah,
because of everything he does. Because just the more well-roundedness, right? But in the second baseman ranking that I did on my Substack, Nico Horner's number 2, and it's because of his defense. It's his contact ability, putting the ball in play.
So
I don't trust
Tommy,
him.
hang on, Tommy. Before you go much further, you said that you got a Substack that you write for them. Give the people of Lights Out Sports the exact spot they can go to get some of your work, buddy. What is it?
So I it's my Substack. It's called Baseball Scoops. I'm a Red Sox fan, but I love baseball. So it's even if the Red Sox get eliminated, it's just nice to talk about baseball. Baseball is such a beautiful sport. It's a beautiful game. It's fun to follow. There's so many great players, and I feel like I'd be doing a disservice to myself if I didn't talk about baseball and as a whole, and aside from just the teams that I like talk about the Cubs. The Cubs are great to talk about. Cubs are fun to talk about right now. There's a lot of Cubs fans that are very excited right now, but it's fun to just follow the game and just write about different ways. I can send you guys the link to the thing after the show's done. Sure. So that way everyone, if you guys put it out, I could put it out too, and just
absolutely
that way.
Go ahead and send it to us. Put it up on our Twitter account, and you know what? Why don't we just plug everything right at the moment? So our Twitter is our X account at All Gloves Off SM. And Cheese, I know you do a big time focus on the draft, kind of like Tommy does a big time focus on the Red Sox, but you also do a lot of other things on your channel, much like what Tommy does, except yours is football. So you know what? Why don't we just do the trifecta here? Where can we find Cheese and all of his work?
It's at Football with Cheese, CHEEZ, on the screen there. And I actually have a video I've already recorded coming out tomorrow where I react to Daniel Jeremiah's first mock draft. So I wanted to get some draft content on my channel earlier this year, so look out for that tomorrow. Just subscribe and hit the bell for notification.
There you go. That's what we always do, right? That's something I don't ever hardly ask for, and Cheese does it all the time. That's probably why he's got 5 times more followers than we do, but that's okay. Hey, now Tommy, I want to do this to you real quick, buddy. There's one position for me that I think the Red Sox need to upgrade, and that's the catching position. Do you agree? And if so, how do you think the Red Sox are going to try to upgrade that position?
We've seen Craig Breslow make numerous trades, but a lot of these guys, I'm not sure how MLB ready they are. The pipeline is definitely strengthened, so I'm hoping some of these guys kind of ascend quickly. You're seeing a lot of guys ascend quicker through the minors than normal. It doesn't matter if you're hitting, pitching. They could go sign one. I was wondering if they'd sign JT Realmuto, but that obviously giving him that kind of money is kind of silly at this point. If you're
especially with his age.
Especially his age. If it was a shorter pack with maybe less term, less money, then maybe it would have made sense. But Connor Wong improved a little bit defensively, not great defensively, still a slightly bad defender back there. You do want someone to give Narvaez a break because Narvaez was a little gassed towards the end of the year. So you're kind of hoping that maybe Connor Wong has a better season. I don't even really know who else is out there for a catcher position, to be honest. And I don't think it's like anything crazy. Like, I don't know if it's anybody like worth taking a flyer on. But yeah, no, I agree. I think the catcher position, just from a backup standpoint, is ideal. But he does work well with the staff, apparently. Has good rapport with Bayo. Has worked well. Apparently, I don't know if how true it is, but that video that went around that he basically told Chapman to, man, just locate it. Don't just throw it. Just pick a spot. And next thing you know, Chapman had like the best like command year he probably ever had as a pitcher. And that's a guy who's been pitching for a decade.
Right, absolutely. I love Chapman. And somebody else I love, Cheese, here in the middle. I know he wants to do some commenting on this catcher position. Buddy, go ahead. What you got for us?
Well, I mean, I would call the Braves if they about Sean Murphy. They'd have to. I mean, I think the Braves would listen, but they want you to take on all the money of the contract because they have Drake Baldwin, who was Rookie of the Year. So that's probably the only catcher you could get maybe available, and he's really good at framing. He's really good in the run game as well. So I still can't believe. I know it's for Garrett Crochet, but if you have Kyle Teal, oh my gosh! Like I know it was a good trade for the Red Sox, but man. I saw Kyle Teal go on the White Sox. It's like I would never trade Kyle Teal. he's a catcher that can really hit.
I wonder if they call the Royals because the Royals have a lot of catching too. Like, I mean, Salvador Perez, they signed him for 2 more years. He'll probably end up being DH, maybe backup. Carter Jensen is a really good player. That's a really fun player they have. But they have other guys in the pipeline too. I don't know if they go that route. Paul Taboni, getting Ford from the Mariners, like that was so smart. That was such a smart trade. Like I wish the Red Sox kind of did that, but he stocked up basically for the pipeline, and you're just going to hope these guys develop, ascend, and you can kind of figure out who's going to be the backup. Because Narvaez showed a lot. I mean, that was the guy who was supposed to be the 3rd string with that trade from the Yankees, and then he ended up emerging as the starting catcher, and yeah, he ended up being a really good one. So
right. Well, you know, Tommy, I know you've got kind of a hard out here, and we got about 10 minutes left before you have to go. So I've got a few more things to get to. Let me make sure I can do that. The Red Sox have basically 24 pitchers on their 40-man roster, and 10 of those 24 have starting experience. Do you think this is the right ratio for the starters on the 40-man? And how do you see this shaking out with their top 5 rotational pieces from those 10 by the time opening day gets here?
I mean, Crochet's your ace. You're probably, I would assume, you can flip a coin for 2 and 3. It's either going to be Ranger or it's going to be Sonny Gray. And then Bayo's your number 4. And then you just have just an endless competition of Johan Oviedo or Peyton Tolley, Connolly Early. Kyle Harrison's in the mix. There's a million. I think Peyton Tolley's going to start in AAA. He needs to develop a secondary that he can trust because – I mean, you saw his first start. He smoked the Pirates with his fastball. It was a great outing. And then he played the Diamondbacks and didn't go so well because, well, they know what's coming and they're just going to hit it. He needs a secondary they can trust. They seem to like Oviedo. He definitely profiles as a pitcher that, you know, they covet.
Okay.
Then you got Cutter Crawford. You got Patrick Sandoval. I mean, there's so much competition. Me personally, I want to see Connolly Early in that 5th spot. I think he showed enough. I think he showed a lot of promise. He's very well-rounded. He has a good pitch mix. He went deeper in the playoffs than Brian Bayo did, so I have a lot of confidence in him. I'm high on him. It's interesting. I'm curious how they round out that bullpen. They have way too much depth, but depth is good because you're going to need it.
That's very true. So I got one more question for you here, and then we're going to get to our poll question that we put up on our site. So if you're listening to us live right now, like a ton of you are, you can go over to @AllGlovesOffSM and vote on that poll question. Let me give that to you real quick. So where do you think the Boston Red Sox will finish at the end of the season? Will they, 1, win the division, 2, make the wild card, 3, be above 500 but no playoffs, or 4, be below 500. So everybody can rush over there to the site. Make sure you vote on it, retweet it, repost it. It'll be up for another few hours yet, and then we'll look at it here at the end. But Tommy, what worries you the most about how this current roster is constructed for the Boston Red Sox? And I want to give you a little bit of a caveat here. It can be either a player, a position, or even a coach.
That's interesting.
I know. A really smart guy comes up with these questions. I don't know who he is.
So I can't pick the whole lineup. What does the offense look like? I think for me, not a bad concern, because obviously I could just say Trevor Story's health. But I probably am concerned more about Marcelo Meyer and his health. Like, what does he look like in a fully healthy season? Like, what does that look like? You're now a regular, like you're the guy manning the hot corner. You know, what does that look like? I'm also excited just to see Willie Abreu. What does he look like against lefties instead of being a platoon? You know, that he'll get more opportunity. What does that look like? What can he do? But I think it really boils down to Marcelo Meyer, because that third base position, like if things go poorly, it's going to get loud, and it's going to get loud pretty quick, I think. Not saying he can't defend, but it's like, you're filling in for Alex Bregman after the drama you just went through regarding that position during the whole entire 2025 season.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's look at our poll question here. Once again, it is where do you think the Boston Red Sox will finish at the end of the season? Will they win the division? Will they make the wild card? Will they be above 500 but no playoffs, or will they be below 500? We got people voting on it right now. I can see them doing it. So, Cheese, I want to start with you. Which one your Twitter's hacked, so you probably didn't pick anything right at the moment. So, which one do you think? They're going to win the division, make the wild card, above 500 but no playoffs, or below 500? The Boston Red Sox this coming season. Cheese, which one would you choose?
I think the Blue Jays are going to win the division.
Okay.
I don't know how many. Let's see, 7 teams make the postseason. I'll say
three wild card, right?
Yeah, yeah. I'll say the Red Sox make the wild card.
Okay, Tommy, what about you, buddy? You going to agree with Cheese? Or are you going to take another stance?
I think they at least make the wild card. Blue Jays are going to win the division. I actually do have hopes for the Orioles this year. I actually think they're going to surprise people. They look. I like their manager.
I'm not sure if I agree either.
I like their manager. I think their manager that they brought in from Cleveland, I think fundamentally they'll be better, which is huge. Pete Alonso's a bat they needed. But yeah, I think they at least make the wild card. AL is wide open, to be honest. It's not like the NL where who's probably going to be there. It's a wide open league.
I think if the Orioles signed Framber Valdez, I would maybe pick them, but I still think they have a lot. They just weren't very good last year.
They were so bad.
Yeah.
winning record once the calendar turned to June. So
okay.
They were one of the better teams come June 1st. So there was that, but yeah, they started so bad and they couldn't catch up.
All right, so let's look at the results from the poll question over on our X account, which is at All Gloves Off SM. Win the division, 7%. These two tied at 20%, either above 500 and no playoffs, or below 500. Those two tied 20% apiece, and the overwhelming majority, over 50, in fact, 53% of our viewers said what you guys said. They make the wild card. So, Tommy, I know we got just a few more minutes. I want to get to the National Baseball Hall of Fame stuff with you. So, Andrew Jones and Carlos Beltre, as well as Jeff Kent, all three just made the playoffs. So, first, let me start with the guest. Tommy, we'll try to keep everything short because you got about 5 minutes left here. Do you agree with those three players being in the Hall of Fame?
I mean, they've earned it. I mean, Carlos Beltran, if you take out the whole Astros thing, him as a player, the player that he was, he was a great baseball player, certainly deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. And Andrew Jones, I mean, good heck of a player. I mean, to win the amount of Gold Gloves he did, playing center field, all the other stats that kind of come with it, good for him, especially from that. The Jeff Kent thing opens up a really big can of worms. I think he earned it, but it's the names that were also in that conversation that didn't get in that kind of sparks a whole different can of worms.
All right, well, let's keep the lid on the can of worms for a minute because we've only got a couple minutes. Cheese, what about you? Those three guys, are you good with all three? Do you not like one? Or where do you stand?
Of course, Andrew Jones should have been in a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
The best
Yes.
defensive center fielders ever. He was incredible. I think toward the end of his career, he kind of fell off a cliff. He got fat, and that kind of hurt him. But Beltran is
don't be making fun of fat people.
Beltran, absolutely. Like just watching Carlos Beltran, every time he went to a new team, it seemed like he elevated him, like the Astros, the Mets. He just seemed like he made them like contenders. So absolutely him. Real quick, Kent, I don't think I would have ever voted for Jeff Kent. If he played left field or first base, he wouldn't have sniffed it. Because he played second base, we should just let him in. Well, that's good for a second baseman. But I just never, maybe 2 or 3 years, he was like one of the best in his position. I think he just played a long time. He played into his 40s. So, I mean, he was very good. I just don't know if I would have voted for him.
Okay, well, I'm going to stick with you for a minute, Cheese. I'm going to jump to this next question. I think this will be interesting from both of you. Give me a stat that a hitter and a pitcher must have in order to get your Hall of Fame vote. Give me a stat. A pitcher has to have this in order to get into the Hall of Fame, and a hitter has to have this in order to get into the Hall of Fame. You can pick one or the other because we're running short on time.
This is easy. I want to make sure that they were one of the best 3 or 5 players of their position for at least 5 or 6 years. If they're 2 or 3 years like Jeff Kent, best your position, maybe not. But I want them. It doesn't matter. I don't care how many homers are hit. I don't care what their ERA is. If they were one of the best in their position for at least 5 or 6 years, then they should be in the Hall of Fame. And, they play 10, 12 years at least. You don't have to play 20 years. And so many people in the Hall of Fame that just they hit a certain number, but they never were like one of the best in their position.
Mm-hmm. So for you, it's more about the total body of work then.
Yeah, were you a great player? Were you one of the best? Were you one of the best left-handed pitchers at the time? Were you one of the best shortstops in your era? If yes, for a good amount of time, for enough seasons, then you should be in the Hall of Fame.
All right, Tommy, I'm going to go to you. Of course, they can find you at Beyond the Monster. Monster is spelled MNSTR. So what about you, buddy? You can pick a pitcher, you can pick a hitter. Tell me something that one of those two has to have in order to get your vote to go to the Hall of Fame.
I'm kind of with Cheese. It's like how dominant was your dominance?
Bigger and bigger and bigger.
how dominant was your dominance? Like Clayton Kershaw, like his peak years, like he was the best pitcher in that span, like plus everything else that followed through with it, with the accolades and all the achievements he's had. Like that's to me what. Like everything that comes with it, I'm kind of with him. Like it's the whole body of work. You can hit home runs, but it's if you were not the best at your position, but you could just knock them out of the park. Like I don't know if that's not enough.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm with him. It's the body of work.
All right. Of course, now you can find Tommy also at Pesky, PESKY_podcast. Him and a bunch of his friends talk Boston Red Sox on that podcast and other baseball things. So, Tommy, I'm going to stick with you for a second. Do you agree with the whole 5% that they must get 5% in order to stay on the ballot? And do you also agree that they must have 75%, a big portion, in order to actually get into the Hall of Fame? Too much, too little? What do you say about each of those realms, Tommy?
I mean, 5% I think is fine. It's, just did you get enough to stick around and keep the train going? Like I think 5% is probably sufficient enough. 75% at this point kind of seems high. I think at some point, don't make it to where it's super easy just to get enough in. But I don't know, lowering it would be like a little bit better than just 75%. That's just kind of where I'm at. I mean. I'm not saying lower to 50, but
even 70.
Yeah,
I agree with
70,
you.
even like 60, I don't know, 68. I mean, just something. I mean, I know it's a weird number, but
or even just like 66.7, like 2/3. If 2/3 of people
69. I vote 69.
Of course, Mike thinks that. Of course.
Of course. So what do you think about the 5%, Cheese? So you might want the Hall of Fame to lower the 70 a little bit. What do you think about the 5?
Yeah, just like you said, you have to have a minimum. You have to have 5 is fine. If you get like 3.7% of the ballot, then you're probably not a Hall of Famer anyway. I think Andrew Jones got just under 7 the first time, so he almost got off the ballot, but
yeah, it was close.
But no, I think you have to have a minimum. I think 5's about right.
All
Like,
right,
Tim
gentlemen,
would be-
last
like,
question
Tim would
here, and
be-
then we're going to bid Tommy adieu here. We appreciate you being on with us, buddy. Hopefully we'll do this again, and then I'm pretty
Absolutely.
sure that you're going to do some stuff on your side and then invite us to do the same stuff. So
Yep.
I can't wait to work with you some more. Here's the question, gentlemen. If you had to pick one from this group, who would you pick to go into the National Baseball Hall of Fame? Here are your choices: Roger Clemens, Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, or Pete Rose. Which one of those four, Tommy? Clemens, Bonds, McGwire, Rose. Who would you pick and why?
Oh man, I'm torn just between Barry and Clemens. I think Clemens was just super dominant. Pitching just for the Red
All
Sox in
right.
general.
So between Barry and Clemens, there you go, Tommy. Go ahead.
Gonna go Barry. I mean, you can't tell baseball.
Gonna go Barry.
Gotta go Barry. I mean, some of the records he had is just simply untouched. Like, really one of the most like feared hitters in the game that we've had. So gonna go with Barry. That's probably really controversial, but you know what? I'm gonna go with Barry Bonds.
We're okay with controversies, show. So I'm not sure if I'd agree with you, but that's why it's called controversy, right? So,
Yep.
Cheese, let me give you those guys again. You tell me which one you're going to look at: Clemens, Bonds, McGwire, or Rose. Which one of those four, bud?
Oh, Pete Rose for sure. I cannot possibly ever vote for Clemens, for McGwire, and Bonds. It's Bonds and Clemens especially. How they handled getting caught was awful. Yeah. Especially Clemens. I could never vote for him. Pete Rose, if he admitted it right away and done a lot of talking to kids about gambling, don't do it, then he would have, I think, been in. He did finally admit it, but honestly, he didn't put poison in his body to hit homers. And at this point, since he has passed, I think they should let him in. So I'd say Pete Rose.
All right, guys. Pete Rose. I would have to agree. Just to wrap this up, and it's not just because I'm the Reds guy. I agree with your last point. He didn't do anything to alter the game. Yes, did he bet on it? Absolutely, and there's no doubt about that.
Team. He only bet on his team too. He didn't fix a game at all.
I'm not saying that. Here we'll put up another comment here. I'm not saying that he should have been in first ballot or anything like that, because I do think, kind of like Carlos Beltran with the whole trash can thing, you should probably not be first ballot when you're doing that. But the credentials do speak for themselves, and I think Pete's the same way. Maybe you shouldn't let him in right away, but the credentials speak for themselves. If you guys don't know, the guy who has the most records in the Baseball Hall of Fame is the guy that's not even in the Hall of Fame right now, which is Pete Rose. So, Tommy, buddy, I'm going to give you a second. Man, shoot us everything. Tell us where we can find you at. You've been a great guest with us, and we appreciate it. Where can we find you at on X? Let's start there.
So on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, the Bird app, the X app, at TJ Bennett 3Ts37. Okay. On there, mostly posting baseball, mostly posting Red Sox. I will send these lovely gentlemen the link to my Substack where you can find league-wide work. It's got some things that I'm cooking up new for this year that I did a little differently last year, but you can find me there. And also Beyond the Monster, that's where all my Red Sox stuff is. And I also do audio for the Pesky podcast where it's strictly Red Sox. But if you want league-wide stuff, not Red Sox, go to the Substack. That's where you'll find it.
All right, buddy. Hey, Tommy, we certainly appreciate you being on with us. We've had some great guests, and you're one of them. Thank you very much for everything. I know you got to put one of those children of yours to bed. Thank God I don't have those anymore. I'm done with that part of my life. That is over. So, hey, we appreciate you. Raise another baseball kid for us. All right, buddy?
You got it.
Okay. Thank you very much, Tommy.
Thank you.
Later,
okay,
man.
No problem.
Take it easy.
You too. All right. Whew, we can't be doing. Oh, man. No. Ow. That's hurting my. Oh, there we go. Much better. Okay. I don't want us to be that large. Oh, no. You're not
you
bad.
Saw yourself
that hurts me.
that close. You're like, no.
Yeah. That was almost awful. All right, buddy. So we got through our baseball stuff. We certainly appreciate Tommy being on with us. Great guest, of course. So now we're going to jump into our notes for the college football. We'll do that here in just a second. I'm going through and looking for the notes that I put out there. That's why I'm stalling a little bit here. Cheese, what did you think about the Boston Red Sox overall, and what are you expecting from them in the upcoming season?
They still need another bat. I know their fans are frustrated. They need another big bat, either at second or third. So that worries me. They won't score enough runs some games. But and Wilson Contreras, so I know him very well. Yes, he had a good year. His WRC plus is in the 120s. But at the same time, as a catcher, it's amazing. But as a first baseman, that's probably league average. He's probably a league average first baseman. So they need more than just him. They need another big bat. If they do, then I think they're a playoff team for sure.
All right, I agree. I mean, the problem is they're in a really tough division, as we already know, right? They're in there with the Yankees, they're in there with the Blue Jays. Tommy seemed to think maybe the Orioles would do a little something. I'm not sure about that, but they're, regardless, they are certainly in a tough division. Speaking about something that's tough, I tell you what, why don't we do another one of these cool graphics, and we'll switch everything over to our college football spread offense. Here we go. All right, guys, we are going to jump into college football spread offense here. It's not going to be a really long segment. We've got a lot to talk about in football. And, of course, we just had our guest, Tommy Bennett, over here. You can catch him at Beyond the Monster. Monster is spelled MNSTR. You can also catch him Red Sox Only Talk at Pesky_podcast. And, of course, go over and give him a follow on X. He is at TJ Bennett, BENNE. T37. So those are all the ways you can get a hold of Tommy. And now you're just stuck with the two of us for the rest of the time here. So here we go. College football. What were you saying, buddy?
Nothing. I said we apologize for that.
Yeah, we do apologize. Yes, especially me. I mean, she's not bad, but me, whew, shoot. All right, so the college side of the Super Bowl. Cheese. Mm-hmm. Sam Darnold is from USC.
Correct.
So how many quarterbacks before Sam Darnold have made it to the Super Bowl?
Well, Carson Palmer didn't. And Mark Sanchez got close.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he's it.
He is it. That's right. No one. The only USC quarterback. I got a good buddy of mine at work who couldn't believe this stat. In fact, he ran to a computer and it's like, oh no, we've had quarterbacks from USC, and no, the answer is no, you have not. So, hey man, you know what, buddy?
That's crazy.
This is fine
because they've had a lot of good quarterbacks. Matt Leinart was a great college quarterback, but of course, busted the NFL. But just Carson Palmer never went to a Super Bowl. It's just crazy because he was so good.
You don't have to know anything about college football, sir. We will train you. Just hang out with us, and we'll train you until we get to the NFL talk, all right? So, yeah, there's, again, I wanted to kind of make a connection here between the Super Bowl and their colleges. Drake May is from, of course, North Carolina. So, Cheese, how many Tar Heels before him have made it to the Super Bowl as a starting quarterback?
North Carolina is a basketball school. They're not known for their quarterbacks. They don't have a good. I mean, if I guess their best quarterback besides May is probably Mitchell Trubisky or Sam Howell.
Ooh.
So, yeah. Actually, their highest drafted quarterback is Mitchell Trubisky, not even Drake May. But good job, Bears. It's got to be Drake May. Has got to be the only one.
And he is. Drake May is the only starting quarterback from North Carolina ever. So let's keep with the theme here a minute.
Yeah.
Cheese, how about this? What college has the most starts by a quarterback? And then we'll do the top 5 schools here in just a second. But which one do you think's had the most?
Well, Joe Montana went to Notre Dame. Tom Brady went to Michigan. Probably one of
top 5.
Yeah. Bart Starr went to Alabama. Is Alabama one of them too? Joe Namath went to Bama.
Alabama is one.
Joe Namath. But I didn't get the top. Did I not get the top?
You didn't say them. You said the person, but you didn't say the school.
Well, I said Notre Dame, Michigan, and Alabama are the ones I'm thinking.
All right. So you got 1, 3, 4, and 5, but you're missing 2. Actually, no, I take that back. You got well. Let's just do it. Now, I'm confusing myself.
I'm wondering what 2 is. Okay.
Whew. Let's start with 5. Okay. 5. Greasy, Dawson, Breeze. Purdue. Yes, Purdue is number 5. And then let's see, 4. They've had 6 starts by Starr, Namath, who you didn't mention. That's also gone to this school.
I did say Namath, but okay.
Did you say it? Okay, I'm sorry, man.
It's okay.
Hertz and Stabler. So Alabama is next at number 4.
Oklahoma on there?
No.
Okay. I was going to say Hertz went to Oklahoma too. Okay.
3, you mentioned them. Montana, Theismann. I'm getting old. LaMonica? I don't know who that is. I don't know. Couldn't tell you.
Anybody that knows, let us know in the comments. I don't know who that is either.
I don't know. It must have been like a long time ago when they were wearing leather helmets or something. I don't know. But that's Notre Dame. Notre Dame is number 3. Number 2 is the school that you missed. Let me give you the 2 quarterbacks that between them, they got 7 Super Bowl quarterback starts. And then you see if you can give me the school. How about that?
Sure.
Plunkett, Elway.
Elway went to Stanford.
Yes, Stanford. That's correct.
Plunkett. I had no idea where Plunkett went. Okay, Stanford. Okay.
Stanford is number 2.
Yeah, forgot about Elway. Yeah.
And then Brady all by himself gives you 10. So yeah. I mean he's done it all for Michigan. So there we go. Michigan, of course, is number 1, and it's done all with some guy named Tom. I don't know. There's a good quote from Sazeo Suzuki on our X, by the way.
And if the Vikings win the Super Bowl next year, go to it, then J.J. McCarthy adds another one for Michigan.
Correct. Yeah, sure. Well, we'll go with that.
Okay.
All right, buddy. We're going to do 3 different questions. We're already done with the first one. Let's move to the second one. This is kind of weird. I don't know if you've seen this. Rutgers lost $78 million on their athletics in the 2024-2025 season. $78 million on their combined athletics. How in the world can that be?
Because football is a big revenue, and their football team stinks. Their program's just bad, so they don't bring in any kind of revenue from their football program. That's where you have to make your money. And obviously, minor sports aren't going to make money.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I guess I really wasn't thinking about it that way, but yeah, I mean, we all know that, especially in college, football is the big money maker. So you've got to have that.
It's one of the worst Power 4 programs year in, year out in football.
They've lost over $500 million in the 12 years. Yes, $500 million, $500 million in the 12 years that they've been in the Big Ten. What does this say about the lower teams in the Big Ten?
It says that just joining a big conference, getting in a conference isn't going to just make you money. Yes, there's a TV deal. You split the bowl money, but at the same time, you still have to have revenue. You still have to win. So I'm sure Indiana's revenue is off the charts compared to what it used to be. So you still have to win or you're not going to make money.
Right. So you can't just ride the coattails of the big teams in a conference then, right?
I can think of one year where Rutgers was like good in the last 12 years. They had one good, really good team that they got ranked and then they kind of collapsed, but they were at least pretty good that year. But yeah, you have to be good year in, year out to bring in revenue.
Yeah, so Cheese, my final question on this whole thing with Rutgers and the Big Ten and their money and all this kind of thing, do you think this will make lesser teams leave those big conferences and maybe they all join together and make their own conference somewhere off to the side over here somewhere?
Possibly, because one of the non-Power 4 teams gets in the playoff, you can still get in the playoff if you leave. And they're about to form a new Big 12. I mean, not Big 12, Pac-12, excuse me. Like an 18 Pac-12. Of course, Rutgers would not fit the Pac-12 at all. But yeah, I could see that happening. If you're Kentucky, I mean, do you really you almost have no chance. You're playing Florida, Georgia, Tennessee every year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably, I mean, you'd be lucky if you don't lose all 3 of those games every year. So we might see, I really think they need to, we'll talk about this another time. There shouldn't be more than 12 teams in the conference. They should have like a power 7, in my opinion. But yeah, we could actually see this happen. Teams leaving conferences. And then if the lower teams like leave the conferences, then some of these really good programs are going to start losing because not everyone can win. Then the schedules are going to get brutal. So I think there's too many teams in conferences. You could go 4 or 5 years in the SEC without playing someone, which is ridiculous.
But I also have to bring this point up, Cheese. Indiana was, they were the team that you scheduled on homecoming so that you could kick their tail, and all the families, all the people showed up and all that. But now look at them. So what are they going to make a difference in this scenario that we're talking about, where possibly not all of the Sisters of the Poor are going to leave all these conferences? Maybe they'll stick around and see what they can do.
Well, what Indiana did was they got the right coach. That's the first thing they did. Okay. They got the right guy for their program, Kurt Signetti. And then the second thing they did was they hit the transfer portal. They didn't recruit these 4- and 5-star guys. They let Ohio State and Michigan have them. They went out and got transfers. They got a lot of 5th-year guys, some 6th-year guys. They went out and got guys, and also guys that fit their system. They did such a good job recruiting transfers. So, yeah, it gives you hope if you are Kentucky at Rutgers, but you got to start with the right coach. And,
William, we certainly appreciate it. We knew one of our fans would help us out here. We said that.
Okay.
Yeah, he's with the Raiders. We'll throw it up here on the screen. LaMonica was with the Raiders. We appreciate that because neither one of us knew. Especially the big football guy over here.
I heard the name, but I honestly did not even know he was the Raiders. I know I'm usually pretty good with football history, but I missed on that one.
All right, I can't wait to get into this one. I don't know if you saw this. I know because your X account has been hacked. Are you still hacked right at the moment? You got your account back, or
I'm on my 4th appeal. That they keep sending me like, oh, we think everything's good. People online say sometimes it takes 4, 5, 6 times they finally do something. I got friends on X that are talking to Grok. That if at some point I'm just going to get everyone I know to send just link Elon until it gets fixed. But I'm getting back. I'm not giving up. I'm getting back on there, but I'm not on there now.
Okay. So if you get anything from Cheese's account, if
I DM you about Vote For Me podcast of the year, that is not me. Do not click on that link. Anybody DMs you that does not exist. That is a scam.
Yes, and I have seen it a ton on my feed as well. I just haven't clicked on any of those links. So we're going to give you the public service announcement right now. If you look at it and you go, I don't really think that's it, then you just don't do it. If there's that little alarm that goes off in the back of your head, listen to the alarm and don't click on the link.
Yes.
So, Cheese, now that college athletes get paid real money from NIL deals, can they also get fined real money?
What would they be fined for? That's the thing. Is like, go ahead.
Okay, no, you're good. Let me find it here because I know I've got it on my timeline. So yes, here we go. So if you guys haven't heard, Colorado football coach Deion Sanders wants to fine players for misconduct. This is what he has proposed to Colorado. If a player is late to practice, it's $500. If they no-show the practice, it's $2,500. If they're late to a meeting or a film session, it's $400. If they no-show the meeting or film session, $2,000. If they're late to conditioning, it's $1,000. If they no-show conditioning, it's $1,500. If they're late to some kind of medical treatment, it's $1,000. If you no-show that treatment, it's $1,500. Anything that falls under the category of violation of team rules can be anywhere from $1,000 to $2,500. And if you get public or social misconduct, if you do something dumb out in the public and somebody films you on it and all that kind of thing, between $2,000 and $5,000. That's what he is proposing. What do you think about that, Cheese?
Okay. So I get why he proposed that, because we pay these guys, some of them millions, and they can just skip a practice here, a film session. I'm sure film is probably the thing they skip the most, and they still get paid. So I understand, but this is unrealistic. They would have to put it in the contract, and who would sign a contract with that in it? So I get it. I mean, I like. Oh, sorry. I don't say I like. I understand where Deion's coming from. We're paying these kids now, and obviously the fact he's proposing it means some people are skipping film. They're skipping practices because they know they can still get paid. But I don't think you can do this because not everyone gets paid, or they don't get paid as much. So you can't necessarily do this. But college football is such a mess right now. There needs to be. There just needs to be so many more rules, and they got to get it figured out, because you're giving 18 to 21-year-olds millions, and most of them are not mature enough to handle the money, show up to class, show up to practice, film, all that every single time.
Yeah, so I'm just looking at some of our comments over here. Some of you should know we're not going to put these comments up here, but so yeah, what do you think about this? Louis saying, hey, they're 18, 20-year-old kids. How much can you really hold them accountable for?
Gosh, I get, like I said, I get what Deion is saying. He wants these kids. If we're going to pay you, you're going to show up. You're going to do your job. You're going to put in the time. But they are student athletes, though. They're students and they're young. And not everyone, the quarterback that makes $2 million a year, fine. And then the safety that makes $100,000, well, getting fined $2,000 every time if they miss. I know he shouldn't miss, but that, obviously has a bigger toll. Yeah, that's another thing. Crimes, like the NFL will punish you if you break the law, and you could be suspended, even if you're not convicted. That's a good question. That's a topic. Should college football players be also suspended and fined, like automatically? Like, is there like at the conference, can they suspend you? That's an interesting take.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot, actually. And then William comes up and says he agrees with Deion. If the players are getting that kind of money each week, they can be fined until they're reduced to getting minimum wage, basically. But I also get your point that not all of them are getting paid like that. So, it kind of comes up. There's some different ways of looking at this. This is why I thought this was just absolutely fascinating. And I was going back and forth with some people on X yesterday when I posted this up. So, Cheese, here's my big question for you. I like this personally, right? But you got to remember, I'm 52 years old. I'm different than these kids are, and so are you. You're not that you're 52, but you're certainly different than the kids are. You got a little different outlook on life, but are players going to want to go to the only football program that's holding them accountable?
Probably not. Especially the ones that just want to go there for money. I'll say this. Leadership is the big thing with college programs. I actually was a student athlete. I know, shocking, right? For 1 year. And if you did not show up to, basically you get 20 hours, right? You can practice. And that's what we did. But it was voluntary to go to the weight room, right? Okay. But if you didn't, the captains, the juniors and seniors, they would get on you. Why didn't you show up? So I always did. I did it I swam my freshman year. So they got on you. So I always show up at the weight room. And so you need good leadership, and you need not guys that are in their fifth year that are on their fourth school. You need guys that have been there the whole time, leaders, and to make sure the young guys, no matter how much money they make, show up. That is the best way to deal with it, not necessarily finding people, in my opinion.
All right. So, I really like what you're saying there. I completely agree with you, Louis. We're going to get to you here in just a second, because I like this other point that you're going to put up here as well. I put this up here too because of the whole Indiana thing. Indiana might change how college football is done entirely. I think this is kind of where Indiana's going, right? So I was going to ask you, what kind of players do you think Colorado will get? But Also, do you think Indiana is doing something similar because of the players that they're getting? They're just not publicizing it like what Dion does. And, Dion publicizes everything. So,
well, Indiana's getting a lot of, I don't know if you saw this, a lot of older guys. They're getting guys that have been in college 3 or 4 years. They're getting, so you're going to have more leadership. You're going to have more maturity. But Dion, it could hurt Colorado. They did not have a very good season because, like I said, a lot of people, not a lot, but some of these guys aren't really, they don't love football, but they're really talented and they want the money.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to go the biggest amount of money. If Colorado offers the most money, they'll go there. But if Colorado offers the most, is like tied with, say, I don't know, USC, and USC doesn't have these rules, then they're going to go to USC. So,
right.
Yeah.
All right. So I want to bring up Louis here for a minute, right? Louis's got this. I don't know if this is what I want to do or not. No, that was not the one that I wanted. What is
positive for doing good? I like that. Let's be positive.
Yeah. Let's be positive, right? That's not
positive. Yes. Let's not talk about the Packers at all. Let's be positive.
But that wasn't the one I wanted to bring up here. I wanted to bring up the other one that he's got. Hold on. I don't know what happened here.
Does he say, never go against the family? Is that what he says?
No.
Okay.
There we go. So there's such an easy solution for this. Give the players a bonus if they show up to all their practices and films and such. Do you want to pay them even more? That's my question.
Well, no, actually, I like this. So what you could do in your contract is you get, let's say, okay, we'll give you $2 million a year. You're the quarterback, right? But you get $1 million guaranteed. But you have to do this, show up to this, and you get more. You get $100,000 for that. $200,000 show up every one of this, and they'll show up. If they miss, if you like, it's like you miss more than one film session, you lose $200,000. You miss more than one weight room, like workout in the weight room, you lose $100,000. Like you have that rule. You get like one, then they'll show up every time. I love this. This is a great rule. And I'll say this: Green Bay Packers. This is not college, but they like to structure contracts. They give, but usually between like second contracts, not rookie ones, between 100 and 500,000 in the contract if you show up to the off season, because they want you there in the off season. The mini camps, all there's the veterans, because they put in a lot of new stuff. They put in new plays and all that. They want you there. So I still remember Clay Matthews got paid $500,000 if he attended like 85% of the off-season stuff. So guess what? He attended 85% exactly of the off-season stuff because he wanted that bonus. So they could do something like that.
Yeah, so there's the follow-up. So, it's not a fine, but it's presented as a bonus in your contract. So I can see it, Louis. I can. I like this. I'm just not sure if I want to pay them more. I would have to structure it in the contract that they get in the beginning, I guess, is what I'm
it would be the same amount of money, but you have to do this to get all of that. Like,
right.
You're guaranteed 50%. But if you go to this, and if you miss more than one, you lose 6 figures.
Right. So it's kind of like the NFL, right? We'll sign you to a contract. We'll guarantee you X amount of it. And if you do these other things, then you'll get the rest of it. So I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Can this be enforced across the landscape of college football, though, Cheese? And do you think other teams would jump on board with this?
I don't know. And if someone's offering you, like I said, like if USC said $2 million guaranteed, none of these clauses. Colorado says $1.5 million, but $500,000 you have to earn by showing up. It could hurt, but I just think it's a smart move if they can get the guy signed. And my biggest problem is people can just get out of these contracts unless it's structured that way. It says you have to pay back. So anyone can just 4 years, $10 million, right out of high school, and then after 1 year you just leave because someone offers you $4 or $5 million per year or something. That's my biggest problem. There's so many issues with college football. Nick Saban on the pregame show ESPN talks about it all the time. He's got some pretty good solutions. They really need to listen to him. The commissioners of the Power Four need to get together, and they got to figure this out because it's kind of getting out of hand.
Absolutely. All right, buddy. Hey, I know that you have put together some great notes for us for the not college football. You're doing NFL 4-down territory. So I tell you what, let's transition from college to the NFL, if you would please, and let's turn everything over to our buddy Cheese.
Okay.
All right, buddy. Give us a little preview. Tease us a little, man. What are we going to talk about in our NFL 4-down territory segment tonight?
We're going to talk about the Pro Bowl because
why?
Somebody got named to the Pro Bowl and it's an absolute disaster.
Oh, okay.
We're going to talk about what a catch is. We're going to talk about the two teams in the Super Bowl and who their head coach and their GMs are and how long they've been there. And we're going to finish talking about the Buffalo Bills naming Joe Brady the head coach.
And then, ladies and gentlemen, this should be interesting. I've got mine. Got it right there. We are going to do our lights out list, our version of the top 10. And today, we're going to do, you guys can start making your list. We're going to do the top 10 most important players in this year's Super Bowl. Should be an interesting list.
You know our lists are going to be so different.
They're going to be so different. I guarantee they're going to be different because I'm not a big defensive guy, and I know that you are, so I'm sure you're going to throw some defensive players in there. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to have very few defensive players on this list. There are a couple that made it, but not a lot. So we'll see how different.
5. I have 5 defense, 5 offense.
All right. You be as even as possible, sir. You go right ahead. So
it was an accident.
Was it?
Yes.
Okay. Louis, let's get through the question first before we put your comment up there. Cheese.
Okay.
Where are we going to start?
We got to start with the Pro Bowl. So, Shedeur Sanders, quarterback of the Browns, speaking of Colorado, Dion, he's been named to the Pro Bowl. He's replacing Drake May, who can't attend because he's playing in the Super Bowl. In 7 starts, this is Shedeur Sanders' numbers. 7 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. He also had the worst completion percentage, worst QBR, worst quarterback rating in the NFL, minimum 5 starts. So basically, Mike, he was the worst quarterback in the league statistically. We're talking about that right now, Louis. Apparently, he was an alternate. I looked it up. I was like, how the heck did he get named? The fan voting had him ahead of Trevor Lawrence, Aaron Rodgers, and even Joe Burrow. So, my question for you. Should the NFL have stepped in and just named one of these other AFC quarterbacks as an alternate?
Ooh.
Because this makes the league look terrible, in my opinion.
It does make the league look terrible. I listened to your video a couple days ago, I believe, or yesterday when you published it.
Yesterday, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes. As soon as this is over today, we're going to throw this up on our X page, All Gloves Off SM. So you can get that full video. It's about 5-6 minutes long. You know, we can't expect you to talk about it forever. I mean, it is Shedeur. So
it's the easiest video I ever made. I did no notes. I barely had to edit it. It was I just saw it, boom, made a video. And you can get it at Football with Cheese on YouTube, at Football with Cheese, CHEZ. Okay, so what do you think the NFL should have done? Should they have jumped in there and said, no, you can't. We can't let this happen?
Well, let's read what one of our viewers says here. William says, "Thank you for talking, Shedeur. I'm not sure if you should be thanked or not, but should fans lose their Pro Bowl rights, or should NFL nominate the candidates for whom fans can vote?" And I'm putting this up here, man, William, I like that part. Let's not let them vote on everybody. Let's narrow it down, or maybe the players get to vote first and then, their top 5 or something go into a thing, and then we let the fans vote, something like that. That would stop the fans from being able to vote on anybody and everybody. I think that would be interesting. Like he's saying, they establish the floor so that it's not so embarrassing. I I like that idea, William. I think you should work for the NFLPA, buddy.
Yeah, I had that in the notes a little later, but we'll talk about it now. I was thinking maybe let the media and the players and the fans each have a third of the decision making. So at least the fans have some vote, because you want the fans involved. The NFL's never going to take it all away from the fans, but maybe give the media, the players, and the fans each a third of the votes. If that happened, the players and the media aren't voting for Shedeur Sanders. They're just not. And I know a couple Browns fans. I reached out to them. And did you vote for Shedeur Sanders? Heck no. Both of them. Mm-hmm. No. So this is Deion. This is Colorado. This is Deion. This is people fans of Deion. Probably more Cowboys fans because Deion played there, or Falcons fans voted than Browns fans. So
right. If you didn't watch the beginning of the show, the guy who is in the Football Hall of Fame, yet in the same span since he's been the last time to the Super Bowl, Robert Kraft's been there 11 times, and he can't sniff the Hall of Fame for some reason. Not that it's fair or anything like that, but.
And one thing about what Williams said, if you do that, maybe you have to wait later in the season. So maybe like after Thanksgiving, like the week from between Thanksgiving and Christmas, we let you vote. We pick, maybe top 5 at quarterbacks, maybe like top 10 at receiver or whatever. You vote off that like after Thanksgiving. Because if you start it early in the year, some guys get off to great starts and fall apart, and vice versa. Some guys, it takes them a while to get going. So
right.
But anything has to be better than what happened, because it's I cannot. Okay, well, here's what bothers me. Here's what bothers me most about it. And thanks for checking out my video at Football with Cheese. The fact is, the media makes a case for a person being in the Hall of Fame, for a player. And almost always when you hear it, when they talk about it, is how many Pro Bowls they had. Oh, he had 8 Pro Bowls. Oh, he had 10 Pro Bowls. So that's a big deal when you're trying to get in the Hall of Fame. So that's what bothers me most about anything. Do you think what do you think about mine? Like the media, the players, and the fans each have a say. What do you think about the vote? How should they structure the voting, do you think?
The only problem with that, Cheese, is that's going to take a while. And I'm not sure where you start it. You kind of mentioned it earlier. You can't go halfway, because some players have a great first half. Some players have a great second half. It's really hard for a player to have a really great complete season. So you're going to have to structure it a little differently. Or you're only going to have to give them like a week at a time. Like, we only give the fans a week, or we only, then we get the press a week, and then we give the players a week. Or I guess you could do it that way. Or you know what? Maybe you just shut the Pro Bowl altogether. Who cares? Who's watched I mean, really, who's watched the Pro Bowl over the past few years anyway? What does this really even matter, buddy?
Nobody watches it. And maybe just name the Pro Bowlers and then just not have the game. Why don't you say he is a Pro Bowler? Why even have the game? So, yeah, Trevor Lawrence, 29 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Aaron Rodgers, 24 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. I don't have Joe Burrow's stats, but I know he missed time. But still, Joe Burrow, one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, I don't think anyone would say he's not a top 5 quarterback. I mean, he is, period. Is not in the Pro Bowl. I don't care if he missed half the year. And Shedeur Sanders is. It's a joke. The Pro Bowl has become a joke. So what you're saying is you don't think it's going to be fixed anytime soon?
No, I don't think so. And you know what? I want to give you something additional. I think let's do it this way. Let's make it a pride thing. And I think, instead of money or instead of something like that, I think what makes it a pride thing is the following season, you get to wear a special decal on your helmet, or you get to have a special patch on your uniform that said, last year, I was a Pro Bowl selection. And, they could even market Pro Bowl jerseys. They can market Pro Bowl helmets. They can market, all kinds of different things. So I kind of like the idea of giving them either an award when they do all the other awards, and they do the, Walter Payton Man of the Year and stuff like that at the gala that they're going to do here, I believe, in this coming week. I don't care about the game. I don't think anybody cares about the game anymore. If you want to give them an award, if you want to give them a distinction, fine. But why are we playing some kind of two-hand touch? I don't know.
I didn't even know they did that.
Just have a ribbon cutting ceremony, for God's sake.
I didn't even know they did that until comments for my Shadur Sanders Pro Bowl video. The people in the comments told me I hadn't watched the Pro Bowl probably in more than 15 years. And I watched it the first year Aaron Rodgers made it as a Packer. And that's the last time I watched it. So, yeah. So it's been a while. Yeah. And even then, they weren't even trying. They weren't even tackling. Everyone was just kind of going through the motions. So I didn't even know they play like some flag football thing. So there's no point in even having it. Name the people. And some people don't even want to go to it. They're just in off-season mode. So, yeah. Let's see. What did William say?
Yeah, here we go. We got press and players vote first to establish the floor for the candidates to qualify. Then fans can only vote players in the top. Yeah, so when they get the top so many percentages, that's all that can be voted in. And yes, don't play the game. Make it an all-pro honors. Right. That's those last three words are 100% right. There's no game needed. That doesn't add to the lore of the award or anything else. Why? Why are we even playing the game? I agree 100%.
And then you won't have
you're great today.
And this situation never would have happened because Drake May would still be a Pro Bowler. He wouldn't have not been in the game because of the Super Bowl. So we would never have had Shadur Sanders as a Pro Bowler if you didn't play the game.
Look at the golden flip here. He says, hot take. Make the winning players on the Pro Bowl game and give them the right to use a special power once a season called the golden flip. They can choose the outcome of any given coin toss.
Overtime. It's big now. You want to go on defense first.
Lou, you might be on to something here. And man, I want to say you guys have been on it today with your comments, man. Thank you guys very much. We appreciate all of those comments. That's one of the reasons why
maybe not Bully.
The live chat.
Maybe not Bully, but everybody else.
Well,
Yeah.
That's what happens when friends of cheese come on the chat. So
He took off. He was hungry, so yeah.
It's all right. All right, where are we going to next, buddy?
Okay. So I know you did not enjoy the Broncos-Patriots game.
No.
10-7 final. But you did text me, and you said you really enjoyed the Seahawks-Rams game.
Correct.
I enjoyed it as well, but something really bothered me about the game. And this is not the first time people have talked about this. While being tackled, Seattle Seahawks receiver Cooper Kupp, used to be on the Rams, now he's on the Seahawks. Mm-hmm. He extends his arms to try to get the first down, which he does. But it appears as he extended his arms, the ball pops out on the way to the ground. They ruled it a catch on the field, and the call was upheld. Okay?
Yes.
Here's my issue. Oh, did you have something to say? You saw the play, right? Obviously.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. The week before, Brandon Cooks for the Bills, in overtime, he had the ball, looked down. As he's down, secured the ball, the Bronco defender rips the ball out. They call an interception on the field, and then it was upheld. Very likely changing the outcome. It would have put the Bills almost in field goal range, and they may have won the game. The Broncos, after the interception, went down and kicked the game-winning field goal.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mike, I don't know what a catch is anymore. Can you please tell me what a catch is?
I can't, but I'm going to tell you what I can tell you, and that is this is what the NFL wants. The NFL has put two big things recently that I don't think we're talking about enough that makes the game really, really intriguing and gets people like you and me and some of those loudmouths on that four-letter channel that I can't hardly stand that does a lot of football stuff and gets them to scream and shout and, pronounce things wrong and show how stupid they are and everything else, but it still gets them to talk. That's the scheduling now, like how the Patriots can go from worst to first, and that's this rule. This rule has caused so much controversy. We're talking about it seemingly every week. It's like I think Jerry Jones has come up with this, right? We don't care about football. All we care about are some of these rules, and we need to talk about football every week. And if the rule does it, then let's keep going in this mired controversy thing, and let's just simply keep talking about it. It doesn't matter if you know what a catch is or not. We're all just going to be upset about it anyway in the end. So what's it matter?
Yeah. Do you remember the Des Bryant catch about a decade ago? Cowboys Packers in Green Bay. You know, obviously I'm a Packer fan, but I think that should have been a catch. I think it was a terrible call. It helped my Packers. I was happy at the time. But so this has been going on for a decade. It's not fixed. I still remember, so this has been at least 10 years, maybe longer. Calvin Johnson, Lions-Bears game. I remember watching it. He catches a game-winning touchdown, and to celebrate, he puts the ball on the ground in the end zone to go celebrate in Soldier Field, to celebrate with his teammates. And apparently the officials said he didn't secure it long enough before he put it on the ground. Took the touchdown away. Bears won the game. And this is when the Lions were terrible. This was a huge upset for them. And it's just like, didn't secure it long enough. Like, I haven't shown you the play. That just kind of reminded me of it, but it was absolutely terrible call. So it's like week in, week out, year in, year out, we don't know what it catches. It just changes. And do you think the NFL – what should they do about this? Should they do anything, or do you think they just don't care?
I think they don't care, as long as it's giving them. So you and I have talked about this before on different shows. We've talked about it off air. It's, you know, I know you're not a real big WWE guy. I am. One of these days, I keep saying I'm going to do another podcast that does WWE stuff, but we'll get to that later eventually. If you're a heel or a face, it doesn't matter in the wrestling business, as long as you're getting attention, as long as people are buying your merchandise. Who cares if they hate you or like you, as long as you're making money for the company? This is the same thing. As long as this is making money for the NFL, I think you're just going to see the NFL back away and put their hands up and be like, yeah, go ahead, guys, talk about it all day long. And all the talk shows and all the podcasts, especially the good ones like ours, you know, you can keep talking about this all day long, and we love it. They're not going to do a darn thing about it because of the fact that we're talking about it so much. And honestly, why would you? It's the Dallas Cowboys syndrome. You know, how much have we talked about Dallas? We seem to talk about them every time, every show, and they're irrelevant right now. But yet we still mention them somewhere along the line, just like we did now. So why change it? Why do anything different when we're all talking about it just like they want? Here's Louie. Louie's saying they're doing it on purpose because it ups fan engagement. Yeah, that's probably the best way to put it, Louie. Fan engagement. Not only do they not care, they love it. I 100% agree with him. Cheese, you froze up there for a second, but you're back with us. Go ahead, bud. I jinxed him. Hang on.
Can you hear me?
I got you now, Cheese. Go ahead, buddy.
Oh, man, it froze for a while. Okay.
It did. It froze for a minute.
So they say 2 steps in a football move. They defined it, but sometimes that it doesn't matter. And a lot of times they just stick with the call on the field. There needs to be, I think, more of a definition. 2 steps football move. Maybe you have to secure it for at least 2 seconds. Maybe it can never hit the ground. Maybe make a rule. The ball can never hit the ground. You must secure it like your arms. Just there needs to be more, in my opinion, because this keeps happening. There used to be a rule. You could only get 1 foot in as long as someone pushed you out, because you would have gotten the 2nd foot in. They got rid of that, you know? So I just think they could make a rule. If the ball even touches the ground, it's not a catch. You have to secure it. It would make it harder for receivers, but at the same time, we would have less controversy. And I don't know. It just bothered me because I don't think that Cooper Kupp was a catch. And it probably cost the Rams. Maybe. We don't know. And it definitely cost the Bills the game. And the Brandon Cooks should have been a catch. So I don't know. It just really bothered me. And I really enjoyed the game. By the way, Mike, you were 2-0 against the spread in predictions. Congratulations. You were 2-0. I was 1-1. You got them both right.
That's all right. Every once in a while, even a blind squirrel finds a nut. So.
Well, if they called the Cooper Kupp play right, I might have gotten the Rams winning, but anyway.
Well, you know, so what I did is I've got this kind of pull with the NFL now. I just made a phone call. And
the Super Bowl preview. We're going to try to do everyone watching a Super Bowl preview. You know, it won't be as long as the last one, but we'll try to do one for you guys and break down all the matchups. So
no, don't say it's not going to be as long, because we look at this and we make notes and we structure everything and go, okay, this will be an hour, and then 3.5 hours later, right? Yeah, trust me, my wife says it every podcast.
Well, that show on Sunday, thank you guys for coming out for it. If you haven't, you can check it out on the channel. We talked for 2 hours, but we talked half of it about coaching hires, and we won't have to do that. Hopefully, if the Cardinals ever name a coach, we won't have to do that for the Super Bowl preview. And it's only one game. So, okay. So I know you know this. If anyone watched my channel knows they know this. I hate the word continuity. Okay. They hate it with a passion. The media likes to talk about it when it comes to head coaching and people in the front office, either general manager, president, or whatever. Okay. It's the excuse they always use when a team doesn't fire someone despite the fans wanting a change. They kept saying it with Tomlin, with the Steelers, and the Packers when they extended Matt LaFleur, head coach, and Brian Gutekunst, the GM. The Packer media said, oh, it's good for Jordan Love to keep the same staff. They say the same thing when the Bills hired Joe Brady. We'll talk about in a second. It's better for Josh Allen to keep the same offense. However, the two teams in the Super Bowl made some recent changes, and now they're one win away from a championship. So the Patriots general manager, Elliott Wolf, he's been in charge for just 2 years. And this is Mike Vrabel, the head coach. It's his first year as head coach. Okay. So they went from 4 wins to making the Super Bowl by changing the man running the front office 2 years ago and a new head coach last year. In fact, right, keep Jordan Love's offense together, right? Drake May has had 2 offensive coordinators in 2 years. No one is saying they should have kept head coach Gerard Mayo or Alex Van Pelt, the offensive coordinator, over Mike Vrabel and Josh McDaniels, who's the current offensive coordinator. So, Mike, why is continuity supposedly good for organizations but bad for others?
I get what you're saying, but I think this could really put into perspective the Jonathan Gannon firing. I wanted, as you know, I thought Jonathan Gannon deserved another year. And he was snatched up pretty quickly by your Packers. So I think he's a talented person. Right. I'm not sure if he's a talented head coach, but he is a talented person. What I will say also is I think he'll get another head coaching gig, and he'll be much better the second time around. So did they give up? It's one of the things that, when your Packer video came up and I was promoting it on our channel, All Gloves Off SM on Twitter, I said, did the Cardinals give up on him too soon? And I think they did. The continuity thing, they went out and got players that fit Gannon's scheme. They went out and got offensive players that fit the offensive coordinator scheme and the defensive coordinator scheme. And now, 3 years later, Jonathan Gannon's not going to be here. You're going to bring in another coach, and he might not even run the same stuff. So why are you doing continuity if you're not going to give the guy a chance? So I think continuity can be positive and negative.
That's a good point. They finally had, in my opinion, a defense that enough players on that defense that fit his scheme. They signed Josh Sweat. They drafted Will Johnson, Walter Nolan. They finally had his defenses weren't always the greatest, but he finally had it. And now they have all these players that fit his scheme, and they might bring in someone else, whether it's offensive coach or defensive coach, that don't fit the scheme, and it could set them back a couple of years. So that's a good point. But did you see? I sent it to. I emailed you, Mike Garafolo, who's an insider at NFL Network. Did you see his tweet?
Mike Garofalo, I believe, is actually how it's pronounced, but that's okay.
It doesn't matter.
Only because I know him. He was the guy that I called to make sure that the play was done right, and I won for both spreads. But go ahead, sir.
Okay. Did you see his tweet, though, and what word was in the tweet? Okay. I emailed it to you. It says, this is his tweet about Bills and Joe Brady. Joe Brady will continue to call offensive plays as the new head coach of the Bills, source says. A plan for continuity for Josh Allen and the Bills offense. There's that word with the media every time. Every time someone's retained, it's because of continuity. And sometimes, okay, like you said, it would have helped the Cardinals defense for sure next year if they had kept Jonathan Gannon. Defensive-minded coach, was a great defensive coordinator in Philadelphia, brought Josh Sweat over, so he knew the defense. He was a good fit. He had a good year.
Right.
But sometimes
be a but.
Well, sometimes they use continuity as an excuse when you should make a change. And that's what bothers me. And that's what they're using with the Bills. That's what they're using with the Packers. And no one is talking about continuity with the Patriots or Seahawks because they don't have it. And they're in the Super Bowl. Final thoughts on that?
I'm not disagreeing with you. It's like I said, I just think that it can go either way.
Well, do you think the success by the Patriots and Seahawks will lead to NFL teams more, like basically fewer John Harbaughs and Mike Tomlins who were there 18, 19 years?
Now, say it to me again. What were you?
Okay. So do you think the success of a first-year coach and a second-year coach in the Super Bowl will lead to fewer Mike Tomlins and John Harbaughs, like guys there 18, 19 years?
That stay around for a long time.
Yeah.
Oh. Man, see, now I know how you're starting to feel on the 5 flaming 5 and 5 when you just sit there like, all right, what's this weirdo going to throw at me next?
No, that's good. Got a little hot today.
I think it's different for players and coaches. Like, I want to see a player, Buda Baker. Let's just use him for a minute, right? So he's the guy I think of first. He's been on the Cardinals forever. Sometimes I feel sorry for him because he's been on the Cardinals forever, but I like the fact that he's been on the Cardinals forever, right? I can buy his jersey. I can support him, and I feel like I know he's going to be there the next time I talk to him. So everything is going to be great there, but I don't know. I think sometimes you need a different voice in your locker room. You need a different leadership in your locker room. So I'm not sure if it works the same for players and coaches.
Do you think that if Pete Carroll, who they were calling for firing, and they did fire him 2 years ago, the Seahawks, do you think if they kept him, the media would have said, oh, it's good for continuity? Do you think they would have defended the decision? Because I think they would have.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they probably would have too.
Okay. Well, last question on this. Do you think sometimes it's good to make a change, just to avoid like complacency?
No. You should make a change only when a change is needed. I'm one of those guys who I don't particularly like change. If it's not broke, don't fix it, guy.
I figured that.
Yeah. So no, I absolutely not. Don't make a change just to make a change. Don't be one of those people who comes in and, so I'm the new coach and I don't like the offensive coordinator, even though he did really well, but he's not my guy. I want to bring in my friend who may or may not be good. You don't know if that guy's going to be good or not. Why are you making all these changes just to make a change? I got 2 breaking things here, by the way. So whenever I know this is your segment. So whenever you want me to do it, we got a baseball one and a football one.
Oh, give me the baseball one.
Give you the baseball one. Major League Baseball has just announced that the trade deadline will be August the 3rd at 6 p.m.
Ooh, so it's moved back about three days.
Yes, they should have a few extra days in there.
Okay.
And we were talking about the Cardinals.
Uh-oh.
There's a new person that has been kept a secret, I guess, that they have interviewed, but they've tried to keep it a secret, and it's been leaked now. You ready for this name?
Can I guess?
Yes.
Rich Kotite.
No.
Oh, Matt Eberflus.
Stop it.
Okay, go ahead. Tell me.
You.
I have no idea.
Ron Riverboat
Rivera?
Yes.
Here's the thing, though. I want to get your take on this, but I'm going to just real quick say he did take the Panthers to the Super Bowl, but he's a twice retread coach. One retread coach I'm okay with. Twice, like Mike McCarthy, feels like a Mike McCarthy hire if they'd get him because he did fail in Washington. So what do you think about Riverboat Ron?
I'd rather him take a chance on a younger guy.
Okay.
I think they're going to hire LaFleur. That looks like the guy that they're going to hire.
Mike LaFleur, not Matt LaFleur, his brother.
Yes, Mike.
If that happens, then our two teams will be have a LaFleur, and we will both be going to the liquor store a lot.
How about this? The Broncos have announced they parted ways with offensive coordinator Joe Lombardi.
I saw that. Feel bad for him. I think, I'm not sure if he was the problem. Like they had a backup quarterback in the game, but it just seems like they fired a few assistants. Maybe they told Sean Payton, we need to shake it up a little bit. I don't know. It's kind of weird. I think they fired their cornerback coach as well. It's like they have the best corners in the NFL, one of the best cornerback groups in the NFL. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but I'll say this. Maybe they're doing it because Davis Webb might be plucked by someone either as head coach, maybe the Raiders, or as offensive coordinator. And so they're going to elevate him to offensive coordinator. He's a hot name right now. So that might be why they did it.
All right. Let me do one more. We're throwing these things out here.
Let's go.
I just saw this. This is fantastic. You're going to roll laughing.
Uh-oh.
The 3 highest paid players that the Jets had this past season. You ready? Number 3.
Is it 2 players that aren't with the team anymore?
Maybe.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Number 3, $23 million to Justin Fields.
I would not have guessed that. Oh my God. Okay.
Number 2, $31 million that they still had to pay to Sauce Gardner.
Sauce Gardner. Okay, I got that.
All right. And number one,
it better not be Aaron Rodgers.
$35 million that they paid to Aaron Rodgers.
Got 2 of them.
You did. Good job, buddy. Good job, buddy.
Well, the good news is they're coming off the cap next year.
Correct. I'll stop hijacking your show now.
No, you're fine. That's great. No, that's good. Oh, my God. Well, the Jets, they don't win a lot of games.
Yes.
Okay.
Jets. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, we got – well, speaking of the AFC East, we got one more segment left. We're about to do the lights out list. It's going to be fun.
It will be.
Our list last week was like way too similar. So every other list we've ever done has been crazy different. It's going to be very different, I can tell.
Yes, it will be.
We got to talk about this. It'll be quick. Joe Brady has been named the head coach of the Buffalo Bills after Phillip Rivers, yes, Indianapolis Colts quarterback Phillip Rivers, withdrew his name from contention. A lot of Bills fans, they're not happy at all with this hire. Do you agree with the fans, Mike?
I don't know a lot about him, to be very honest with you. Okay. I wish I could say that I knew more, and maybe that tells me all I need to know. I didn't like Sean McDermott getting fired.
Yes.
And if this was really their plan all along, wouldn't they have done this quicker? I mean, doesn't this kind of tell you that they went through a bunch of people and nobody wanted this job? So it's like, well, okay, now that it's been a week and a half since we fired our head coach, I guess we can just promote this guy and shoot off the fireworks and the confetti and say that this was our plan all along and lie to everybody. Isn't that kind of what it feels like they're doing?
That was a good point. So Mike McDaniel, who's now the offensive coordinator of the Chargers, refused to interview. They wanted to interview him for head coach. He did not take the interview. You have one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, which there are so many teams that would kill for Josh Allen. And Mike McDaniel, that's bad. Did you lose me for a second?
No, you're right there. I got you.
Okay. So it froze for a second. So that tells me that he doesn't work with Brandon Beane, the GM. Mike McDaniel didn't even want to interview the job. It's a mess there. We talked about it on Sunday before the games. We talked about the Bills situation. It's a mess there. Brandon Beane is not doing a good job, and the owner, I could see why people don't want that job. Do you think Brady was like a safe choice?
Yeah, I mean, it almost feels like a bridge guy, until they get somebody that they really wanted. They were one of the last guys to fire their head coach. I mean, part of that was because they were still in the playoffs, but some of the people I think that they really wanted may have even been taken. And like you said, some of them that they really wanted, I don't think wanted anything to do with it. So when stuff like that happens, to be honest, they should never have fired McDermott. But after they did that, they didn't have a choice. They had to hire somebody. So why not promote from within, I guess?
They should have fired Bean and kept McDermott, in my opinion, and let the new GM work with McDermott for a year. Then you give him a year and then decide if you want to fire him. That's what they should have done.
I agree with that.
And another good point. I wonder if they would have lost to Jacksonville if Kevin Stefanski or John Harbaugh would have been interested in that job, because you have Josh Allen. We'll never know. I think Stefanski's offense would be such a good fit with Josh Allen, but yeah, interesting that Mike McDaniel. Go ahead.
I was going to say, it just also tells you, right? I know we keep interrupting each other now. That just also kind of tells you, right, that maybe Josh Allen's not the greatest thing since sliced bread, like some people kind of think he is, right?
I think he's really good.
Okay, then why didn't more people want that job?
Because Brandon Beane's the GM, and he's done a poor job, and you're tied to that team. Like the fact that he got a promotion and extension means he's going to be there a while. And if he keeps drafting like shit, because he has, then he won't get the team a good run defense. He won't get the team a number one receiver or number two receiver. Then you're stuck with that. You're stuck with a guy who's not been drafting well, who's not putting enough talent around Josh Allen. And you're tied to that. Liam Cohen did not take the Jaguar job originally. He wouldn't even interview until they fired Trent Baalke. They fired him. He's like, all right, okay, I'll be your coach. So it's really important for these coaches to be in a good situation, to have a good general manager. Mike McDaniel, who we just talked about, did not have a good general manager, got him fired. What I think Mike McDaniel's thinking is, I might have my pick of jobs next year. I'm going to go coordinate the Chargers, and I'm going to turn this offense around, and I might get a better job than Buffalo next year. So let's just do that, and then might be able to pick my job, like Ben Johnson got to pick his job last year.
Well, I mean, if he takes the Chargers to the Super Bowl, he is going to be able to pick his job, even if they don't win. He might be able to pick his job if they just win a playoff game.
Good point. Good point. Yeah, I totally get why he did that. Okay, so do you think that you kind of touched on this a little bit, but I think it's possible Brandon Beane hired him because he's an easy fall guy. If the Bills continue to disappoint, he can say, okay, well, I wanted to keep the offense together, continuity. I wanted to make Josh Allen happy. This is his offensive coordinator, and he can blame Joe Brady. Do you think he picked him because he could set him up to be the fall guy?
So you're saying that a general manager knows he's doing bad, and he's just going to double down on the fact that he's doing bad?
Yes, absolutely. If you have not at Football with Cheese, my channel, I did make a video about this, and I talked about Brandon Beane and how terrible he is and how petty he is. So
you were right.
So yeah, what do you think?
I think if that's his plan, he should be taken out behind the old stadium there at Buffalo and just shot.
Old Yeller,
right? Just put him down.
Mike is advocating for shooting Brandon Beane. That's how bad he thinks he is.
No, I'm saying if that's his plan.
Right.
But it makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, the more you kind of talk about it, like, I watched the video, of course, on your channel. And, when you were talking about it, as I'm driving back from work, I'm like, yeah, that's right. It is. And if this is really, it's almost sinister, isn't it? I mean, do you need to keep your job that bad?
I'm wondering if Philip Rivers got to know Brandon Beane and realized he might be a narcissist. He might be someone I just don't want to work with. And it's like, I could probably get a better job than this. And that's sad because the Bills, like I said, they make the playoffs every year. They win a playoff game every year. They're right there. They have a great quarterback. It's a shame, but it's right now, it's a mess of an organization. Final thoughts on the Bills?
They're a mess. And I think they're a much bigger mess than people give them credit for.
I agree. All right. I think it's time.
Oh, I love it when it's time. Let's see if we can do the music a little bit. Maybe. If it drowns you out, I'll turn it right back off. But let's see. Let's dive in, ladies and gentlemen. Let's dive in.
Lights out list time. And anyone in the comments, when we do the list, if there's anyone we're forgetting, let us know, because you never know.
You never know.
I know our lists are going to be so different.
Oh, okay. They are. We're going to start at 10 and go to 1, right?
Yeah.
Why not?
But yeah, we got to start at 10. We got to start at 10 and go to 1. Yes.
Okay.
I think our number ones might be the same, but other than that, it's going to be crazy different.
I don't know. It depends.
No. Okay.
Okay. You want to start, or do you want me to start there, Cheese?
Go ahead, Mike.
All right. Why don't we just throw it out there right now? 5'11", 202 pounds.
Oh, wow.
23 years old, from Miami, Florida. This is my number 10 most influential person in the Super Bowl this year. Field goal kicker for the New England Patriots, Andres Borregales.
Mike, you know kickers and punters aren't football players. You know that.
Now wait. You're gonna rest this on one of these two guys before it's all said and done.
Two guys. Does he have the punter for the Seahawks as well? He's pretty good.
Don't make me come through this microphone.
I did not have any special teams players on this list. Okay. I thought about Rashid Shaheed, the punt returner of the Seahawks, because he's really good, but no. Kickers and punters aren't football players. My number 10 you will not have on your list. I have to pick Morgan Moses, the right tackle of New England Patriots, Mr. Reliable. He's never been great. He's always been above average, and he's solid. Morgan Moses, he's played for a lot of different teams, played for the Jets as well, played for, I think, the Ravens. He's just that solid right tackle that always goes out there and is above average. So, Patriots right tackle, Morgan Moses.
All right. So for me, we talked about who was number 10. Now we're going to talk about who's number 9. This guy's 34 years old, 190 pounds. He, again, is 5'10", and it's because he's from Marist College, Marist. Never heard of that place in my life.
Okay.
And maybe it's because he's a kicker. Jason Myers, the kicker for the Seattle Seahawks, is my number 9 guy.
Okay. All right.
You want to put one kicker in, you may as well put both of them in, right?
They aren't football players. Number 9 is Milton Williams. He's a defensive tackle, interior pass rusher for the Patriots. He had 2 sacks in the Super Bowl last year for the Eagles. Big free agent sign for the Patriots. He could have an impact. They need him to, because they are the underdog. So Milton Williams for the Patriots. Back-to-back Patriots for me, number 9 and 10.
All right, well, I'm going to go back-to-back Patriots as well. I'm going to pick a Buckeye. That should pretty much give it away right now. I'm thinking that they've got to have a big game from this guy. When they give him the rock, he needs to go through the line. Travion Henderson, for me, the number 8 player on my list of the top 10 most important players in this year's Super Bowl.
Absolutely thought about him. They don't give him the ball enough. I don't understand why Ramondre Stevenson gets as many touches as he does, because Henderson's just better. It's absolutely ridiculous. So I couldn't put him because I don't know how many carries he'll get. My number 8 is Kennard Walker, running back for the Seahawks. Hey, cheesy boy. Kennard Walker had a really good game. He's had a great season. No one talks about him as being like a top 10 running back in the NFL. He absolutely is. Analytics loves him. The games where he just bounces off defenders. So, yeah, running back Kennard Walker, Seahawks number 8.
Okay. I'm going to go with another running back. You're going to see some of these are patterns for me, because I thought if I'm going to put one for the one team, I need to put the other one for the other team. So Kenneth Walker III is my number 7 guy, the back for the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, Kennard Walker, yeah.
Yeah. Same guy you're putting up there.
Yeah.
You know, I do. I think he's very important, and I agree with you. He's like a pinball out there. He just bounces off of people, and he's really hard to tackle. But the weather shouldn't be a big factor, so I don't know if it's going to be a little bit different with him, if they'll be able to wrap him up because it's not cold or it's not snowing or something like that. So we'll see how all that plays out, but I do think he'll be a big factor in this game for the Seattle Seahawks and for the Super Bowl itself.
I just realized I did Kennard Walker. I have 5 straight Seahawks right now on this list. I just realized. But number 7, another Seahawk, Julian Love, the safety. He was injured early in the year, and the defense was a little vulnerable. When he came back, it just changed the defense. It wasn't just him. They had some other injuries, but Julian Love is probably the most underrated safety in the NFL. I'm going to do probably next week, I'm going to do a video. I'm going to do the most underrated player at every position. And I'll tell you right now, spoiler, Julian Love will be one of the safeties.
All right. I can't wait for that video. That sounds cool. All right. So you mentioned him earlier and said that you couldn't put him on the list. He is another special teams guy. So before you give me a bunch of crap about this, the special teams play in one of those games over the weekend was what made the difference. And we even talked about it. One team had really terrible special teams, and it ended up costing them and biting them in the butt. I'm going to put him on here, Rashid Shaheed. Now, he also was a receiver for them, and he can take the top off for them.
Huge catch in that game.
Yes. So I think one way or the other, he's either going to make a big play on special teams, or he's going to be that guy who they just throw a 70-yard bomb to, and one way or the other, or maybe both, he's going to make a big difference in this game. And that makes him my number 6 player in this list tonight.
I'm glad you brought that up. If you remember from the previous show, if you guys watched it, I said that. I was like, special teams, CL's such a big advantage. And I said, I picked the Rams. I'm saying, as long as they don't mess up special teams, I think they win. And they had a special teams gap. They fumbled a punt. It cost them the game. Yeah. Seattle special teams is incredible. Okay. Both teams have good special teams, and that should tell you all you need to know. Okay. My number 6 is Leonard Williams, defensive tackle, Seahawks. He was a top 5 pick of the Giants. Jets. He was on the Giants. Now he's on the Seahawks. He's so disruptive. He's really tough to block. He's got such a quick inside move. So I think he's one of those guys that's just very good. Maybe not elite. He's not like Aaron Donald or Chris Jones, but he's always been very, very good. Good against the run, good against the pass. A good rushing the passer. Leonard Williams, defensive tackle, Seahawks.
All right. I'm going to get into some of the better players in my opinion here. So an LSU graduate at wide receiver, 5'11", 197. I know it's spelled Boutte, but it's not pronounced the way it looks, right?
Boutte, I think.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Boutte, not booty.
Yeah.
Boutte.
No, it's not booty. But I tell you what, Kayshawn, wide receiver, New England Patriots.
He's the guy that will just, some games get 1 target, other games get 8. But it just seems like he makes plays. When he does get targets, he makes a big play. I did not put him on this list. Just couldn't find room for him, but I get it. My number 5, you probably have this person higher, but I have Sam Darnold, number 5. And I know you think that's crazy maybe that he's not higher, but the top 4 to me are just insanely important. And I will get into that. But yeah, Sam Darnold, I'm going to make a video about him maybe tomorrow or the next day because his story's amazing, but he handled pressure in that Rams game better than any game I've ever seen him play. And he had to do that. He had to not turn the ball over. He had to be amazing, and he was. And that is one of the main reasons they're in the Super Bowl. So my number 5, Sam Darnold.
All right. So you got to your 5. I'm actually at number 4 here. I got the 2 kickers, 10 and 9. Travion Henderson at 8. Kenneth Walker III at 7. Rashid Shaheed at 6. And then Booty. Kayshawn.
Kayshawn
like Kardashian name. Kayshawn. Boutte. So we got him at 5. And now my number 4 guy. The highest defensive person on this list for me. Out of Oregon, Been in the league for 3 years. 6'1", 205 pounds. Born in Texas. Only 23 years old, but one of the best cornerbacks in the entire league.
Yes.
Christian Gonzalez, New England Patriots.
More on him later. Do you know that he was available? Packers had a huge cornerback need and took Lucas Van Ness, edge rusher, Iowa. Just throwing it out there. Yeah. My number 4 is a corner for Seattle. My 5th straight Seattle. I will get Patriots next 2 after this.
Let him hear it, Patriots fans. Let him hear
it. Hey, my number 2 and 3 are Patriots, but my number 4 is Devon Witherspoon for Seattle. He was another guy that was hurt early in the year, and he came back and didn't look great when he first came back, but he has really come on, and no one's throwing his way. He's just so good. Devon Witherspoon, he's a former top 5 pick out of Illinois. I have him at number 4.
All right, so my 1, 2, and 3, I had them in different orders at different times, and I was doing this list, and I don't want to say they're interchangeable, but they're still really, really important, and I'm not going to get mad if somebody makes a list and one of these guys is at 1 and the other one's at 2 and 3, and, however they want to put them, but I think these are at least the top 3 guys in this game. So for me, I ended up landed on Sam Darnold at number 3. One of the big reasons for this is, I don't know about you, Cheese, but I just keep waiting to see him mess up. And so far, he hasn't done it. We've watched him in other games where he gets pressure and he just folds like a paper bag. So far, he's not. I don't want to say I'm proud of him or anything, but I'm surprised. I'll put it that way. And we'll see if he folds in the pressure of the Super Bowl.
Both quarterbacks had never won a playoff game entering the playoffs. Both quarterbacks in the Super Bowl. It's crazy, right?
It is crazy.
He folded last year in the playoffs for the Vikings against the Rams. He was awful in that game, and they lost. And he was awful against the Rams in LA early this year. 0 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. But he was tremendous. I get it. All right. My number 3, you mentioned him already. Christian Gonzalez, cornerback for the Patriots. He is probably, maybe Sauce Gardner, but he's arguably the best man cover corner in the NFL. He will absolutely shut you down. And I think he had a concussion, almost didn't play, but he did. And you just can't throw against him. You cannot do it. I think the Broncos did a few times. It was always underneath, like 3 or 4 yards. But he is the definition of a shutdown corner. Number 3, Christian Gonzalez.
All right. My guy, the Ohio State Buckeye.
Our top 2
receiver.
is the same. By the way, our top 2 is the same. But anyway, go
okay. That's interesting. Jackson Smith-Njigba is number 2. I said last week on the show, or on Sunday, the show that we did, I said, I'm not sold on him being the number 1 guy yet. I'm close, but I'm not sold. Jackson, you sold me on this past game, man. You really did, man. Man, you came through. I saw you get contested catches. I saw you run the exact route that you should. I saw you turn in the route. The ball was already in the air, and you still made the catch. I mean, there were so many different things that I saw from him.
He finds the ball as good as anyone in the NFL. You just throw it up there. He's gonna find it. It's incredible.
All right, can I make this comparison without you getting all mad at me? Megatron.
Well, he's a lot smaller.
Okay, but he gives me that vibe.
But I get it. The ability just to go up and get everything thrown at you. Yeah.
Maybe Mike Evans. Is that better?
I cut my finger.
Oh, no.
So I have to keep doing that.
Okay.
Mike Evans, though, is even bigger. No, Megatron was a little bit closer, I think. He's better than Mike Evans. Yeah, he is.
Ooh.
And Mike Evans is going to be a Hall of Famer. I think he's better than Mike Evans. That's how good he had.
Interesting.
He and Sam Darnold both were amazing. And that's the main reason. They won a 4-point game. Of course, a taunting penalty didn't help. But
I can't wait. You know what I can't wait for? And I know we're interrupting this for a second. I cannot wait to have the debate with you. Who should be the higher receiver in the draft? A receiver out of ASU or a receiver out of Ohio State?
Well, Daniel Jeremiah has neither one as the first receiver off his board, and I do call it out in that video I release tomorrow.
Oh,
okay.
Interesting.
More on Jackson Smith and Jigba later. No spoiler. Little spoiler. My number 2 is Drake May. Drake May's had some games where he's, like against Houston, had some turnovers, but it didn't matter. So he had some turnovers. He wasn't great against Denver. Didn't matter. He has to play great. He can't go and just start turning the ball over.
Yes.
He has to play amazing. He has to have a Sam Darnold type game, 3 touchdowns, no picks, something like that, in order for them to win. And they can win. Anyone out there say Seattle's going to roll, Patriots have no chance. I beg to differ. They have a shot. But Drake May has to play great, so he is my number 2.
And for those reasons you just mentioned, that's why he's number 1 for me. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have Jackson Smith and Jigma on the outside. He's got Booty, and he's got Diggs.
Matt Collins, and people like that.
A bunch of people that
Morgan Douglas,
Yes, but you know them because you're a football guy.
Hunter Henry.
80% of the people that are watching the Super Bowl are not going to know who any of those receivers are.
Besides Stephon Diggs,
I mean, it's true. So therefore, that means the quarterback has to play well. And I tell you what else Drake May has to do. It's how they won the game this past Sunday. Drake May has to be able to use his legs.
Yes.
So that's why I put him at number 1. Cheese, who's your number 1 guy?
Yeah, his scrambling ability got them some huge first downs. It clinched the game. They would have had to punt, and Denver would have had time. So that was huge. I can't believe I cut my finger.
I can't believe you keep looking at it.
I don't want to bleed all over me. Okay. My number 10 was Morgan Moses, right tackle, Patriots. Number 9, Milton Williams, defensive tackle, Patriots. Number 8, Kennard Walker, running back, Seahawks. Number 7, Julian Love, safety, Seahawks. Number 6, Leonard Williams, defensive tackle, Seahawks. Number 5, Sam Darnold, quarterback, Seahawks. Number 4, Devon Witherspoon, cornerback, Seahawks. Number 3, Christian Gonzalez, cornerback, Patriots. Number 2, Drake May, quarterback, Patriots. My number 1 has to be Jackson Smith, Nick Jigba. He just took over that game. The Rams didn't know what to do. In fact, it wasn't just they couldn't cover him. There was so much confusion. Because he was out there, the Rams had all these breakdowns because they didn't know what to do. They didn't know what to do with him. They had to basically play zone and double, triple team him, but they had so much confusion on who had deep, who had up, and because of that, he got open a few times. He just does that. He causes so much confusion. He's always open. He's sure-handed. He finds the ball. So Jackson Smith and Jigba, one of the best 3 receivers in the NFL today, is my number 1.
All right, I'm not going to disagree with you whatsoever. I just think that Drake May has to play. I mean, Jackson Smith and Jigma doesn't have to play well. He just has to play average.
He's going to play well.
I think Seattle's still got a chance to play average.
He's going to get catches. He's going to get yards. They're going to score points because of him. I feel like New England's going to have a lot of trouble. Even with Christian Gonzalez falling around, they could have a lot of trouble with him. I don't think you can man him up. I think you have to play zone, and it caused a lot of issues with the Rams.
And I can't wait till next week when we talk about that matchup, because I'm sure that's going to be yours and mine both the biggest matchup of this game.
Probably.
We're going to see who's going to win here. So it'll be interesting. I think that will play a big part in who actually becomes Super Bowl 60 champion.
And I have a bold twist take on that exact matchup.
Oh, look at
unexpected. You. Maybe Christian Gonzalez doesn't cover him. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe they have a different game plan.
What?
It's called the Devontae Adams effect from about 4 or 5 years ago. Teams would not put their best corner on Devontae Adams, but I will talk about that in our preview show. So make sure you check us out and hit the bell for notification if you're on YouTube, and subscribe so you never miss our Super Bowl preview.
You have me so intrigued right now.
I call that the Devontae Adams effect. If no one can cover him, man, then you might as well put your best corner on someone else. But then how do you cover him? You'll see.
Intrigued am I. All right.
Why waste your best corner? Why waste your best corner on someone you can't cover anyway? Just saying.
I'm not saying it doesn't make any sense. I'm just saying I never thought of it.
Stay tuned.
Excellent. Excellent job, sir. Hey, we want to thank Tommy Bennett for being on with us today. Again, you can get him at TJ Bennett. That's BENNE37. You can go over to at Beyond the Monster, and Monster is spelled MNSTR. You can also catch him on their weekly podcast at Pesky_podcast. I'm sure that we'll be on some of the stuff that he's going to be doing here really, really soon, so you'll be able to see us on both sides of that. Cheese, what are you most looking forward to this weekend? There's no NFL on.
Oh, I can't wait for the Senior Bowl. Mike, are you going to watch the Senior Bowl? So I'm going to record it. I'm going to DVR it. And I watched it 3 times last year, so that's usually my minimum. I've watched it as many as 5 times in years past. Don't judge me. So you're going to watch the Senior Bowl?
Oh, I absolutely will.
Okay.
I a lot like you. I might not see it live, but I will watch it. I really love the Senior Bowl. I don't like the Senior Bowl. I love the Senior Bowl. I think it's a really good cap to the end of the college football season.
Today, during the day, I have it on muted on my TV, the practices. Like, I literally have it on. When I have a chance, I unmute it. So that's how big I love the Senior Bowl.
All right, sounds good. I can't wait to see it myself. Cheese, thank you. Fans, thank you. Everything we've got is growing and growing and growing. We're on we're on Apple. We're on Spotify. We're now on Twitch.
Everywhere.
We're on Facebook. We're on X. If there's a platform out there, we're pretty much on it.
Napster, MySpace.
Even MySpace. That's right. We have cracked the code.
Napster. Yes.
Napster. I thought MySpace was bad. You had to throw Napster out there. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, I really and honestly, we do seriously appreciate everything that you have done for us. We do appreciate it. Everything we're touching right now is growing, and it's because of each and every one of you. Come back next Tuesday right here for the Lights Out Sports Podcast. But before you leave now, make sure you do what, Cheese? Hit that bell, get the thumbs up. What else should they do, buddy?
So you should subscribe to the channel. If you're watching YouTube, subscribe, hit the bell for notification, because you never know when we will do an instant reaction. We do a watch along. We're going to do a preview. We don't just do Tuesday night shows. We do other shows at other times. So subscribe and hit that bell for notification. And if you're watching YouTube, hit the button that looks like this.
All right. I'm going to give this a little bit. I'm going to do something different on Saturday, but I don't want to give it away yet. Stay tuned. Saturday is coming.
Any little hint? Maybe a hint? Can we get a hint?
It'll be done on Saturday. That's your hint.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned it on the Sunday podcast, by the way. If you watch the Sunday podcast, you would have known, but I'm not going to give it away too straight podcasts.
I was there. Yeah, I was there.
You were there. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, we do appreciate you very, very much. Thank you to our guest, Tommy Bennett, for being on with us. And thank you, Cheese, for those people who need your spot one more time. Where can they get? Well, wait. Don't. If he sends you something on Twitter, no. Don't do it right the moment till he gets it back. But you can certainly follow him on other platforms. And what would those platforms be, sir?
Yeah, I'm not controlling my ex. So if you get a DM from me, it's not me. Just delete the conversation. Yeah, I haven't plugged this at all tonight. So yeah, at Football with Cheese, CHEEZ. And I just did a video. I've done one about the Bills hiring Joe Brady and Shadur Sanders in the Pro Bowl. So make sure you check it out. And tomorrow I have a video reacting to Daniel Jeremiah's first mock draft. So make sure you subscribe.
Awesome. Thank you all. Appreciate you. And as we always say, as we end everything, the only thing that's fair in life is a baseball. It's almost baseball time. It's a baseball hit between the third and first base lines. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for watching.
Everyone's excited except Marlins fans.